that shit of doubt hanging around got old. 'Cause darling, there was nothing right when all you seem to do is lie. Those days are gone, I'm walking tall while you're alone. When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better. I'm better off. When I look at what I've done now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off. And baby, you don't belong. Your love was cold, heart made of stone. I'm just fine, I'm gonna shine. I'm alright. I'm celebrating my liberation. I'm moving strong, I'll get it done. I'm might be shaken but not stirred. Just a lesson that I've learned. And so it goes, tables turn, and you're on your own. When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better. I'm better off. When I look at what I've done now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off. Baby, you don't belong. Yeah, I know I'm Put your pinkies up now, up now, up. Live well to the extreme now. Put your pinkies up now, up now, up.
Hey, it's Pinky. You're on the Pink Pill YouTube channel. Be a love and like, share, and subscribe. Pinky's up.
Hello, 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 hello. You guys, I have a special pre-Christmas treat for you. I am on the phone with my dear friend Kendall. I know some of you thought she just went poof, poof away. But Mark Twain once said when he heard the news of his passing, he said, "The news of my demise has been greatly exaggerated." Kendall is still here. Kendall, say hi to everybody.
What's good, ladies?
Yes, yes, yes. So I was just, we talk on the phone a lot, and today we were just chatting about 2020, right? This has been the year of the reveal, right?
Yeah.
A lot has come to light, and there have been some harsh truths that we've had to face. I think there were some surprises. Maybe if people have been following you, maybe would not have been so surprised. But what are some of the things that really stand out to you about what this year has revealed about the world, Black women, um, the Black community in general?
Hmm. Well, first of all, let me say hello to everyone. Hello, everyone. Um, and thank you for, hosting me, Chris. I always appreciate it when you share your platform with me. So let's see, the question you asked, what are some of the things that stood out the most to me, 2020? Well, I could start out saying I told you so, but we've already did a video on that, so we won't do that today. So I think 2020, they said, 2020 is perfect vision. And I think that things are being revealed
Yes.
In such a way that you can't look away anymore. No matter how hard you may want to try, you can't because, survival mode has kicked in.
Yes.
And we're now all facing our life choices.
Yes.
Ultimately, that's what we're facing. You're looking around your life, but depending on how you're positioned in this pandemic, in this world as we know it now in 2020, you are confronted with what you have prioritized, what you have focused on, what you believed, who you believed. And you're looking around your life and assessing because you have no choice.
Yeah.
So I think that 2020 is the year of perfect vision because you can't look away, even if you want to. You can't look away. Some people are doing well in 2020. Some people are doing better than they ever have.
Yes.
Where some people not so much.
Right.
And so I think that the top thing that I would say that 2020 has been is a year of revelation. Huh?
Yeah.
You can't look away from what's happening when your job is being furloughed, or when you have kids that need to be educated and you're struggling to make that happen, or when you need a stimulus check to survive. And I'm not hating on anybody who's in any of those positions, but it's hard to continue to keep your head in the sand when you're facing kind of a survival of the fittest scenario.
Yes.
So I think for me, the biggest thing that 2020 has revealed is your life choices. This is a time when you are going to take stock of the things that you have done and the things you believed and the people you had around and the choices you make, because they are directly influencing how this situation is affecting you today.
Yeah. There has been from the beginning to now, this real shift in particularly the.
Speak up a little bit or move closer to the mic because I can
Okay.
barely hear you.
Okay, let me see. Can you hear me now?
Not much better.
Really? Okay, let me see something.
Yeah, maybe it's me. Let me see. I have my sound up as high as it goes.
Yeah,
is
my mic
anybody
is
else
working.
having a hard time hearing her? Maybe it's just me.
Can you guys hear me okay?
If they can hear you okay, then I'm good.
Yeah. So if you can hear me, just put a 1 in the comments. I'm just waiting.
Yeah, I'm delayed. I'm a little delayed, so on the YouTube post.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a delay on my end. Yeah, they can. It looks like they can hear me. They said they can hear me loud and clear. So just
Okay, good. Okay.
just your ear. So there's been a real shift in Black women, especially on this on YouTube. This whole level up thing, leveling up, and I think on the one hand, thank you, Baby Girl T, for that $4.99 super chat. I think on the one hand, I think that's really good that Black women are starting to think about hypergamy, thinking about presenting the best self, changing the people who are in their social circles. The problem that I have with it, and the reason why one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on was that I worry with all this external stuff, how much of the transformation is actually happening on the inside. And are Black women really ready to do the work that it takes to truly transform in what they need to be?
Are you asking me that question?
Yes, I'm asking you. I mean, because like I said, you've been on the channels. Some of them are really good. Some of them give really good advice, lots of engagement. But is there anything missing in all of that?
Yes, a lot of things are missing.
Let's hear it.
I mean, you asked me, do I think Black women are willing, did you say willing to put in the work? What was the exact,
Yes.
remember the exact
Are they
phrase
really, aside from changing the external things, like their looks, losing weight, changing their makeup, going to not accepting a certain type of man as a partner, is that enough for the level up of what Black women need to do? Is that enough?
No, it's not. It may get you in the door. It may get you a bag, but it won't secure your position.
Exactly. Nibam, thank you for this $20 super chat. Go ahead.
I think that Black women are so desperate. Black women have had their womanhood, their personhood, their femininity, their motherhood, their wombs, their girlhood, their innocence. They've had that called into question, debased, defiled for such a long time that we think that femininity is from the outside in. And so that's where we start, right? Well, what kind of hair do I need to have? What kind of clothes do I need to wear? What kind of makeup should I wear? And we think that if we could just emulate femininity by the standards set by other people on the outside, that people will then respond to us as if we're true women on the inside. And while I understand that motivation, right? It's not going to be enough. And so what I see taking place is a lot of catering to kind of the fantastical, the fantasy aspect of the feminine, the outside girly. Don't get me wrong, I like that stuff too. You guys should see my bathroom. I'm organizing it as we speak because I just have so many products and stuff, and it's just a mess. But and I like all of that stuff too. I wanted to be a model when I was a young woman, so I understand the need to be seen as beautiful and and all of that. But I have come to understand as a grown woman and in through my studies and my personal relationship with the divine feminine, particularly the dark divine feminine, but both, light and dark, that womanhood and femininity is so much more than appealing to the male gaze. That can be
Yes.
part of it if that is your thing, but it is not the essence of it. And so what I see is kind of Black women trying to reverse engineer womanhood, femininity, starting from the outside in. And that's only going to get you so far. It can be a good motivator to kind of get you going, but it won't hold you. And so what I think is going to happen, what I know is already happening, is that a lot of you guys, those of you who are kind of on this deep search for your womanhood, are going to, once the excitement of the whole kind of hypergamy, level up, high value men, that once that wears off, you're going to be still faced with all of the things that you started out with, except maybe you be a little thinner, maybe you've gone natural, maybe you've stopped dating pookies, maybe you put an ID up your ass and you're not having babies. But ultimately, if you haven't cultivated a relationship to the feminine that is personal and it's based on your relationship with yourself, then you won't be able to sustain any gains you get. You're going to have a really hard time. You're going to have imposter syndrome. You're going to have survivor's remorse. You're going to always question your worth and your value. You're going to constantly feel out of place, like you have to prove yourself. You will continue to be a walking apology in non-Black spaces. You'll be afraid of being alone, being a tribe of one. There's a lot of ways in which that manifests. And I know this not only from personal experience, but because I talk to Black women privately, very successful Black women, by the way, many of whom who have accomplished a lot of the things that Black women are hoping to secure, and they still struggle. And sometimes the struggle can lead to self-sabotage or allowing themselves to be sabotaged. So they secure the bag, but they struggle.
Yeah.
And in the end, some of them end up making catastrophic mistakes because they're still, they got what I call ugly Black girl syndrome. And it's not that they are actually ugly, but they still think of themselves that way. I don't care what changes on the outside. It's like, it's like racial dysphoria.
Mm-hmm.
You can lose the weight. The person who's been 400 pounds all of their lives and they finally lose the weight, but they still see themselves as that fat person. That ends up what happens to a lot of Black women. And so all of this work on the outside is nice, but if you don't fundamentally shift your relationship to womanhood and to the feminine from an inside perspective, you're going to have a hard time sustaining any gains you make.
Something interesting that we also talked about was what Black women, how other people treat us, the way people speak to us, the way people address us within the community is done oftentimes in a very derogatory way. And the way in which it seems like we need to be addressed is often through insults, through pulling no punches. The goalpost moves constantly, and we're told that it's for our own good, or I'm just telling you the truth. I'm just loving you enough to tell you the truth. You tell harsh truths, but what is the difference between telling the harsh truth and being abusive from what I see? Because what I'm starting to see on YouTube is a transition from the rhetoric against Black women to being, it's repackaged, right? It's repackaged into, we're just trying to help you be better. Ultimately, we do want to be with you, but we're just trying to help you be better. So it's gone from, nobody wants you. We want you, but under these stipulations. And the shift has changed to where it seems as if Black women are starting to sort of flock back to um, going where they're comfortable, the rhetoric that they feel comfortable in. Because what I feel like is leveling up your physical is only one part of it. I think you need to also level up what you feel you deserve and expect to be, how you expect to be addressed, how you expect to be treated. And I don't think there's enough of that conversation happening, because I think that there's so much dysfunction. And, we've talked about the levels of dysfunction that we hear from women who we counsel. We're so numbed to these types of behaviors. And I feel like if you're truly going to level up, you also need to level up what you believe in your orbit is normal for how other people treat you.
Well, in order to do that, you have to level up in what you believe about yourself. So what's happening is the rhetoric is always externally focused. Black people in general, but Black women in this case, because that's who we're talking about, have an external locus of control, and this results in learned helplessness. And studies have shown that when people, animals, anything is put in a position for long enough where they feel powerless, then they come to see the world as a victim. And the locus of control becomes an externalized position. So that learned helplessness means that they tend to believe that anything that's going to happen for them has to be done by someone else, or, it has to come from a different source than themselves. So Black women, unfortunately, we've got a history of terrible things that have happened to us that is even in our cells at this point, in cellular memory. Y'all know that trauma is passed on through the genes, epigenetics. It makes chromosomal changes at the biological level, at the cellular level. This has been scientifically proven. And so we're carrying generational curses in our wombs, in our cells, in our minds, in our spirits. And so what has happened is, as we now kind of begin to slowly awaken, we're looking for an external validator. And for a long time, we were doing that with Black males. And so what we've just done, some of us, have just transferred that onto non-Black men or to whoever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's never about moving that locus of control from that external position into the internal position. So years ago, when I first started this work, I did a post kind of introducing myself, even though people knew who I was, but kind of when I launched the Black Women Think Tank, did a post, like it was called I Am Brooklyn Blue. And it was a kind of an essay about who I am in my journey and why I felt that I had the right to come and speak my piece. Mm-hmm. And what I said in that post is, while I have been heavily influenced by the Black women empowerment, movement, I guess you can call it at that time, like a movement, that I did not consider myself an empowerment writer. And the reason why I didn't is because if you understand the definition of empowerment means that it's kind of like power of attorney. Someone is giving you the power to act on your own behalf. And while I think that is a step and a stage in the process, what I've always taught was about the concept of sovereignty, which is that your power is self-derived. So you don't need someone else to make it okay for you to do what you need to do. And for a long time, people didn't understand there was a difference, but there really is a difference. It wasn't just a play on words. It really is a difference. And I think that people are beginning to understand that now a little bit more than they did 10 years ago. So I think what Black women are lacking in this movement of kind of trying to reclaim our femininity and the whole hypergamy, level up, high value men, all of this stuff that's going on is a really introspective conversation about what you're looking for being self-derived.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if your whole process is simply about getting a man, if your whole, and of any color, white, black, whatever, if your whole motivation for the level up is simply about getting a man, or simply about wanting to be pretty, you're going to find it very empty at the end. And you're also going to find it difficult to sustain that, because if that is not who you truly are, or if you have to morph yourself so much that you are constantly in role playing mode, that's difficult to sustain over time, unless you have a very shadow mindset, and that's a different conversation. But if y'all are looking for love and husbands and babies and protected, provided lifestyles, based on what I'm seeing, y'all want genuine love. Now, I have a very different perspective on what love is, but just based on what we're working with here, it's going to be very difficult to maintain a lot of what is being done if it doesn't become a part of who you are. And if you think that your femininity is strictly about that stuff, then what happens when you age?
Oh, well, that's the new.
Did
Did you know that you're over the hill? Listen, Kendall, did you know that we are completely useless? Are you aware of that? Because after what, 28, you're over the hill. We
hit the
are
wall.
washed up. We are some old hags. We need to just go into a corner and die. That's what I heard. That's what I hear in these streets today.
Yeah. I think I heard that too, sis. I think I heard that once you pass 30, that you've hit the wall and your dating market value plummets so low that you just have no options. So either you need to, curl up in the corner and die with your cats, or you need to scrape the bottom of the barrel for anything anything on two legs that might even blink your way. I think I've heard that too. Nonsense.
So
but there is danger in focusing so much on the external, because it sets up a situation where I think a lot of Black women are going to struggle with maintaining their position as they go through different seasons of life, if they think their femininity is based only on the youth and beauty season of life.
Yes.
Femininity is a broad spectrum thing, right? It's not just about that one phase in life. And I know a lot of the women are in that phase, so that's the most important. But if you want a long-lasting relationship with your feminine power, it can't just be based on that one season of life between 20 and 40. If you're lucky, you could live to be 85 years old. So what happens to the second half of your life if you've predicated your relationship to the femininity within you strictly on whether or not you can magnetize a man to you sexually? What happens if the man leaves you? Because men do that sometimes, even the best of them.
Yes, they do.
What happens if life happens, and you have no relationship to your internal power that's based on anything other than the way you look, or your size, or how long your hair is? Y'all's obsession with hair is creepy, but that's a whole other conversation. I understand where it comes from, but it's a little creepy. Like, just all of this external stuff that you think makes you a woman. And I understand where it comes from when you've been denied something and someone has told you the reason why you've been denied this is because of all of these things. Then you look to remediate the problem through fixing all of those things. The problem is they were lying to you in the first place.
Right. And we're still being told lies. And it really is starting to bother me. But Kendall, I just recently, and I told you about this earlier in the conversation, we, both of us, have been grouped into this, I don't know, club, the divested women. We're divested. We are above and apart from all of this stuff. And I really recently realized that I am not divested, because truly being divested from all of this would mean that I would not even be here, right? I wouldn't even be. I am the opposite of invested. But I also realized something else, that sometimes what we know to be true is so painful, we sometimes check back in to see, is it really like this? Is it really this bad? Like it's like, Sodom and Gomorrah. You look back, you turn into a pillar of salt. I find myself looking back, is it really, maybe I got it wrong. Maybe it's not really that bad. Maybe things have improved. And from the time I started, and this is actually, you guys, my 10-year anniversary. I started on YouTube and my journey through social media in 2010. And 2020 has been my 10-year anniversary doing this. And while I've seen some external changes, the things that really impact us as Black women in our relationships, in how we interact with each other, not much has changed. And so when I reflect in 2020, I realize that I have to believe what I see. And that can be one of the hardest things, is while this is the year of perfect vision, you also have to believe what you see.
Yeah. And we struggle with that as Black women. I've struggled with it too. I didn't struggle with it as much with Black men as I did with Black women. It took me a really long time to believe what I saw, experienced, from Black women. It took me a long time. And I think some of that is natural. It's hard to give up hope.
Right. It's like being an abused child. So your parent is abusive, and they keep saying, well, just give me this other chance. And you, every time you think, okay, I'm going to give this person another chance, and then they disappoint you. It's like Lucy and Charlie Brown with that football. I promise this time I won't snatch the football away. I promise. And every time they do. But what keeps us connected is hope. Doesn't matter how thin it is. No matter how thin the hope is, we cling to it. And I think when you did a couple years ago, you did the Final Frontier, and I'd like for you to talk about that after I finish what I'm saying. But the Final Frontier for me was that the things that I have seen just recently, you guys, I'm gonna actually, I've shared this with you, Kendall, but I'm gonna share this with the group. I recently, now this is story time right now. I recently decided that I wanted to reach out to various female content creators who in the past we may have thought differently and had vehement differences of opinion. And the reason why I wanted to reach out to them was because I felt like when you spend enough time in social media, people evolve, people change, we all change. We don't stop changing until we die. But Kendall, something interesting happened. The more I tried to reach out, particularly to the women, the more I saw little channels of people who, I would see them in my chat rooms. I would even sometimes talk to them on lives and I thought we were cool. I thought we were, I hadn't done anything to them. I had just been cordial and nice and, going to these channels saying, hi, here's a super chat. Love what you do, whatever. And the reaction that I got wasn't, hey, let's all work together here. Let's all try to build something. And yes, we can agree to disagree, but the women and I'm listening to, and it's not particularly this content creator. So I know what you're, so the person who I reached out to, I'm just going to say her name because I want to be clear that I'm not talking about her specifically. So I recently reached out to Cynthia G. We had a very nice conversation. I gave her a super chat. She was very friendly. We've even communicated somewhat on the email, and that was great. But the offshoot of that conversation really puzzled me. And I was seeing,
Why did it puzzle you?
I was seeing channels where Pink Pill is a fraud. She's trying to vamp off Cynthia G, bitch, hoe, phony, scammer. I know the truth about Crystalline, and she's just a scammer. And I was just like, and it just started popping up. So I was trying to understand, like, I'm trying to extend the olive branch and be supportive, and all these little videos are popping up from the women who seem to, and these are people who I thought I was at least cool with, cordial, and maybe I didn't even, not even speaking to them at all, but the level of anger in their voice when I had done nothing but just show up and be kind, that's when I realized that it's not, it's like that, the whole idea of the final frontier of realizing that we're just not ever, we can be advocates for Black women and girls, which we are, but the wound is so deep, and the pathology that we have within the community is so pervasive. I don't know. And so where you were with the final frontier, where you just realized that you just got to let it go, I feel like right now, Kendall, I'm at that crossroad of really feeling conflicted about, how to proceed and navigate in the reality of what I've been witnessing. And I haven't said anything, and I'm not going to say anything. I know that in the past, people have expected me to come on here and cry and explode. And yes, that was me. But when I tell you to level up, I'm leveling up there with you. I'm on that journey with you. And quite frankly, I have seen and done, and y'all have done enough to me that I have no more tears to cry over y'all on this platform. So that's not what you're going to see. I'm sorry to disappoint you. But it made me scratch my head and made me wonder, like, I had somebody who I haven't even spoken to say that she was going to sue me. And get this, Kendall, she said she was going to sue me because I'm working behind the scenes. So Kendall, apparently, I have been paying people off, working behind the scenes to create chaos within the Black side of YouTube. And I have a problem with one particular content creator because she has a functional Black family, and I hate that. So I'm employing all these minions to go after her and get other people to attack her. Like, the level of what these people think I spend my day doing. And when I track back to when it all started, it started when I said, hey, can't we just work together as women? Yes, I don't agree with everything you say. We can agree to disagree. But I think that there's some common ground that we can work to build a rapport. And the amount of ugliness that I have seen has really baffled me. Thank you for the $20.99 super chat, and for the other people who gave the super chat and I didn't shout out. And so my final frontier is this: like, I can't. There's no looking back for me. I've had to. I keep having to learn the lesson. And one thing you told me, you teach, is you say the lesson will keep presenting itself until you learn it, or something like that. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, of course. I mean, here is the reality of it. I went through my final frontier experience, and I talked about it. I've never My frustrations in doing this work, I have never hidden. And anybody who's followed me, followed my work, took my classes, took my events, subscribed to my YouTube channel when I had one back in the day, and then my different Facebook pages. I have, kind of documented my process in the work. I made what I was going through a part of the work, and I did that on purpose. Most people do not do that. They do not allow their frustrations and their anger and their angst and their you try to not show that because it's not good for business, right? You don't want to alienate your customers. I didn't give a shit. Y'all know I didn't give a shit. For me, I wanted Black women. For me, my platform was designed to hold up a mirror. And I didn't want to be another one of these, women, these platforms, who glamour you by just showing you the pretty stuff and not letting you, peel the curtain back and take a peek at what goes on behind. And so I was very candid about my process. And so if you go back and listen to my old stuff, you will hear me reach kind of that nadir of just complete, contempt and anger and frustration and just complete. You will see it in my work. And I did not try to hide it. And then you can see me start to kind of come down. So that final frontier experience, and then I kind of I plateaued there for a while. And then finally, I've kind of started to make that descent away from all of those feelings. But I had to go through that process, and I did not hide it. And I did not hide it because I wanted you guys to understand what it really takes. Here is the deal. I'm in a different space now. So, I'm not getting into no beef with nobody. None of that matters. I got I have a life. I'm a grown up and I have a life, and what goes on YouTube and what people say about me or want to imply about me on YouTube or gossip sites or whatever I need y'all to be clear. It has no impact on my real life whatsoever. So, that said, it is a hard lesson. See what happens is, when a wake-up process begins to happen in Black women, the first thing they start doing is looking at Black men, right?
Yes.
And when I first came to the scene, I didn't really want to talk about Black men. I wanted to talk to Black women about Black womanhood. And what I found is that Black women were not ready, because the way in which I was talking about Black womanhood called into question Black women's nonsense, and they didn't want to hear. They could not see past it. And what I realized is part of the reason why they could not see past their egos and their trigger points and all that was because their identities were so inextricably tied to the Black male and the Black community, they couldn't parcel it out and see where they were accountable. So I had to kind of go into kind of history and kind of break down gender relations, the history of how particularly Black Americans ended up the way we are. I had to go way back into ancient everything and kind of bring us up to date in order to pry Black women's hands off of the Black male. She just had no concept of a self separate from him. And so when I came to YouTube in 2016, I came for two reasons. One, because that process needed to happen. And two, because the narrative that was being shared on YouTube at that time by, what we now call the He-Man Black Women Haters Club was so one-sided, and nobody.
I thought of that, by the way, you guys. That was me. I thought of it. I coined it from the little rascals. That was me.
So,
take credit.
I wanted to challenge it, but I wanted to challenge it in a way that was different than most people were challenging it. The few ladies that were active on YouTube at that time, they was very angry and they were emotional. And I understood the anger and emotional, but I knew that wasn't going to be enough. And so my thing is, use your anger and your emotions to fuel the logistics and statistics. And so this was back before you could, do live videos and share your screen and all that. And so I would do a pre-recorded video and then post the links to what I would call the receipts. To, if I mentioned stats, if I mentioned anything that was, anything that was official that backed up what I was saying, my research and anything, I would post the links. Sometimes I would have 20, 30 links in the description. And I would say, don't believe me, go check it out yourself. But I was riled up then because there was a righteous indignation that I felt about some of the, it was just flat out, some of the stuff was just flat out ridiculous that was being said. But I always said, my issue was not that black males had complaints about us. It was the way in which the complaints were being delivered. And I just thought, this is what you do with social media. This is how you decided to handle it. And so it wasn't that I completely disagreed with everything they were saying. What I was saying is that it's one-sided. You are contextualizing the black male experience within the white supremacy systemic, patriarchal, industrialist, capitalist, but you won't do that for the black woman. She's just some evil devil spawn who's just wicked and won't submit. But you're the victim of the evil white man, as if we weren't with you the whole time, as if we weren't. And so I had to dispel all of that nonsense. And so that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I did that because I needed the black women to stop identifying so much with black men so that they could start identifying with themselves. And that was the purpose of that. And then once I felt like I had done enough of that, then it was time to go back to dealing with black women. And when I made that turn to go back, that's when things got really bad because black women didn't like that. As long as you were going in on the brothers, it was good. But the moment I said, okay, now it's time to come back. Let's talk about jealousy. Let's talk about how nasty we are to each other. Let's talk about how sisterhood ain't sisterly in the BWE. Let's talk. I mean, I got posts and videos where I was talking about our mother wound. Let's talk about our relationship to reproduction, why we won't use birth control. Let's talk about being responsible as creators, using our womb recklessly. Let's talk about that stuff. Oh, no. Mm-hmm. And that's when things got really nasty. And then my YouTube channel was flagged down and I went back underground. So, but that brought me to my nadir. That brought me to my final frontier, where I had to accept the fact that everything that black women complain about and black men happens on the watch of black women.
Yes.
And that is not a conversation that black women are ready to hear. Just like black men are not ready to hear certain things about the fact that everything that has happened to black people happened on the watch of black men. And everything that has happened to black women and children happened on the watch at the hands of black men, happened on the watch of black women.
That's
black
it.
men are at the gate, supposed to guard the gate from the outside intruders, and black as the first line of defense, and the black woman is at the door as the last line of defense for the home. And nobody wants to hear that. Everybody just wants to talk about what the other person is responsible for. And so what I had to accept in my final frontier experience, because for me, it was never really about the dudes. It was always about getting us to look at ourselves, is that black women did not want to accept the responsibility of the role we are playing in the things we are complaining about. And what we don't understand is that while they're overlapping and kind of woven together, they're actually two separate conversations. What black men are doing needs to be addressed, but what you're doing needs to be addressed too, specifically because it's you're doing it. You can't control what the brothers are doing, but what you can control is what you do. And what I found is that black women don't want to hear the ways in which they could change things on their side. Not to get a husband, for black love, not to save the community, not because Black Lives Matter, because you need to do it for you. And then, because you are the first cause as a woman, then ripple effects will ripple out. And I said years ago, even those who are hoping to save the community, even those who still don't want to give up and still hold out hope, which I don't. But even if you do, you're going to have, if you want to do it, you're going to pretty much have to follow the same steps as the divestment crew up until the right at the end. Then the divestment crew will pull off left and go about their lives, and you can turn back towards your community. But the steps that it's going to take are going to be the same steps. Leaning in is not the answer. You're going to have to lean back. So then when Ralph Richard Banks came out with the book Is Marriage for White People and said the exact same thing, there's absolutely no incentive in the community for any change to happen as long as you are giving them everything that they want and not making them, you're not giving them anything to be proud of.
Right. And anything
And so
to
y'all
really
don't want to
work
hear
for.
that. And it's true. You're not giving it anything to work for. You're not giving them anything to be proud of. You're not giving them any way to earn the respect that comes with precarious manhood. Men's relationship to masculinity is different than your relationship to femininity. Yours is externally derived. Yours is internally derived. Theirs is externally derived. And that's going into a whole thing about evolutionary theory, about the roles of the genders, and your role is fixed as the womb, but their roles change. Their role is an externally derived role, so it changes, but yours is fixed. And in order to feel the esteem that comes with manhood in the ways that are traditionally, masculine, the way y'all want, you can't do the stuff that you're doing. And Black women don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that.
No, they don't.
But like I said, that's a separate conversation from them talking about how they want to lead, and then they need you to do, then they're telling you, but you need to do such and such to make me lead. That's a different conversation from your part in the story. And so what I found during my final frontier is that the more you explain to Black women the power that they have, y'all don't want to hear that you have the power. You're tired of feeling the responsibility. So what you want is to find some man, Black or whoever, to come in and lead you and take care of you so that you can feel like little princesses. And ladies, that's not womanhood. That's the domain of girls. Mm-hmm. Little girls want to be princesses. Mm-hmm. And so y'all are running around here trying to figure out how to be a princess. And princesshood is a domain of children.
Yes. Yes. I mean,
and so the final frontier was me accepting that that's what Black women want. They want to be rescued. And be clear, I understand it. But ultimately, you can't be the queen, the matriarch that y'all say y'all want to be, right? CEOs of your household, and still want to be little girls. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that, but here's the thing: we see that the treatment, and this is just me being devil's advocate for a second, Kendall. We see that the treatment of other women from other patriarchies who are treated more softly, more carefully, and thoughtfully, and protected. And as a Black woman, at some point, it gets really exhausting to be a Wakanda warrior all the time. And I think that a lot of Black women may buy into this narrative. Well, if the other side is saying that all I need to do is lose the weight and get rid of the weave and work out and be feminine and soft and make sure I don't ever interrupt him when he's speaking, and I walk 3 steps behind him. If I do all these external things, then
critical battery, please charge.
Uh-oh, it's gonna be a little bit. If I do all these external things, then maybe I can have a little bit of that sweet, soft treatment that I see other women able to get.
Yeah, that's what they think.
And it's never gonna happen, ladies. It's never gonna happen.
Not the way y'all are thinking. See, here is the problem. Let me tell you what is the problem. Black women have drank the Kool-Aid about what white femininity is. Y'all think that white womanhood is what you see on TV. So you aspire to that. You don't really understand what the white woman does in order to orchestrate that image. You don't know. Because you want to think, you want to be,
Kendall, keep talking. I'm gonna find the plug. This is so hokey and ghetto, but I have to find the plug for this speaker. So keep talking. You do what you do best. I'll be right back.
No, what the problem is, y'all have drank the Kool-Aid. So you believe what you've seen on TV. You believe what you read in romance novels. You believe the marketing and advertising and branding that makes the white woman look like this pure, innocent woman with flowing hair who men just want to take care of in the rom-coms. And y'all want that. What you don't know is that other races of women, they may present that stuff. They don't buy into it. It's just an image. Behind the scenes, they are working it. And a lot of what goes into it is kind of morally questionable.
Yes.
It's not just light, and y'all want to be good girls. So that's why when I was coming along and telling you about some dark wisdom stuff, I became a devil worshiping demon who was having sex with Lucifer in the damn. I mean, literally, I saw comments like this that I was having sex with Lucifer in the cemeteries because I mentioned one time that I love history so much that I love to walk through old cemeteries during the day and read the tombstones. And that got translated into I have sex with demons in cemeteries at night. Like, this is kind of stupid stuff. And but y'all have drank the Kool-Aid. So the reason why you think that just makeup and hair and being pretty is the answer because you think that's how it works for white women, and that's not how it works. Let me tell y'all something. The white woman is a boss bitch, and let me tell you.
Yes, she is.
And this is not about me, kissing white women. See, that kind of emotional trigger that y'all get when someone says something like this is what I'm talking about. It's just emotional nonsense. Nuance what I'm saying here. I'm not talking about worshiping white women. I'm talking about understanding the essence of the difference between the way the white woman moves and the way you move, and why that fundamentally leaves you in a different position than her. The white woman will send her son off to war knowing he's not going to come back because she believes that is his duty to her, right? She will let her son build skyscrapers knowing there's a chance he's going to fall off to build her cities of glass and steel. The white woman will let her son come into your countries and rape and pillage to bring her back the spoils. And you don't have to like her for it. You can moralize whether she's an evil, whatever. But that's what she does. And it's costly to her. She's a human being. She loves her son. She loves her man. But if her man is not building for her, if he's not playing the role that y'all say, this traditional, she's not going to give him a blood. She's not going to do. He don't get everything for free.
Right.
We as Black women are very different. I remember Cola Boo said this, and this predates slavery. She said even in Africa, Black women do not demand as much from their sons historically. And that was part of the reason why shit was able to go down the way it did. And so I think that fundamentally the reason why this, what 2020 is going to reveal, 2020 and moving forward is going to reveal to a lot of you who are on this search, scouring the internet for womanhood, for Black womanhood, is that this icing on the cake that you guys think is real womanhood is just not. That the glossy stuff. I'll give you an example of what I mean, and then I'm going to come back to why the fundamental difference between white women and us. I watch what's going on. I don't have a YouTube channel anymore, but I watch, and I have watched CK's glow up, right? And she looks great and everything. But I will never forget a couple of months ago in the comment section of one of her videos, where I forgot what was going on, but there was something. And I think you asked, the ladies, well, what do you think I should do? What do you think? And so many of the comments were stuff like, well, you need better lighting.
You need a nicer background.
You need a newer mic.
Yeah.
You need, a different champagne glass. It was an...
Change your hair.
And so you did that. You got better lighting. You got good mics. You putting together the technologies. You're using Zoom. And I'm watching your numbers tick up. And on one hand, I'm very happy for you because you deserve it. On the other hand, I'm shaking my head. I'm like, they want glamour. Y'all want... The content has not changed. Her content has been consistent. She's not saying anything really different than she was saying 10 years ago.
Nope.
But What you want is you want the glamour. And don't get me wrong, glamour is a good place to start, but it's not where you finish. All y'all want is the glamour. I don't care what the OP is talking about. And matter of fact, I think I even saw it in this comment section, but I definitely seen it. And Crystalline can be talking about the most serious topic, a life-changing, game-changing topic for Black women and girls, and it never fails. Somebody in the comments will say, "What kind of hair is that you're wearing? Yeah, what kind of lipstick is that you're wearing?" And it's like, you.
Yes. Do you do makeup
And
tutorials?
I'm sitting there looking at y'all like, oh my God. You think that this is about, lady, listen, let me explain something to you. How deep do I want to go here?
Go deep.
Okay,
go
I'm gonna
deep.
keep it real light.
If it gets
I'm
too
keep it
deep,
light. I'm not gonna go.
we'll just delete it. Or we'll just like
No,
put
I'm
it
not
on
gonna be
panel.
offensive. I'm not gonna be offensive, but I'm just trying, because y'all know I'm deep. And I can go real deep. I can start going into science and start pulling out the anthropology books, but I ain't doing that today. But give me a second, y'all. Let me get my thoughts, because I'm going to be careful in my words.
Okay, so while you're getting your thoughts, I just want to say this. An example of white women doing what is necessary for their own interests. You had a lot of white women who were talking about Donald Trump being so horrific and boorish and piggish. Thank you for that super chat. Oh, somebody has a question for you. Question for Kendall. Are we willing to concede that white women raise better sons and men than Black women do? I bet you this is a dude. Kendall.
Are you asking me that question?
Yeah, somebody paid $20 to ask this question to you. Are we willing to concede that white women raise better sons and men than Black women do?
Are you asking, are we willing, or am I willing?
He's asking you. Are you willing?
Yes. With no equivocations. So get in your feelings now.
Oh, she said yes, they do. Yes, they do. Okay.
Yes, they do. With no equivocation. So at me if you want. I don't care, because I'm somewhere.
That's Kendall saying it, so don't be at me.
No, that's me. I mean, someone asked me.
Right.
They didn't ask you.
Right.
That's why I clarified. Are they asking everyone, or they?
No, they asked you. They asked you. They paid $20 to ask you.
Yeah. So the question was, do white women raise a better caliber of son, a better caliber of man? And the answer is yes. And why? That's not a necessary question to ask. Just look around you.
Right. Somebody said
And you can get
where.
offended if you want. Listen,
Somebody
I'm a
said
mother
where
at
is
the
the
time.
proof? Somebody said where is the proof?
Okay, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. What do you think? Who do y'all think you are? Where is the proof? What do you? So you want me now to defend something that is clear?
Right.
You gotta want me to go deep.
Right.
Don't.
But see what I'm saying? It's like that's what you were talking about. That's what you were talking about when when it's directed towards what it is that we do. We don't. Yes. We get our hackles up.
Yes, I'm watching it in the comments. So when I'm telling y'all that femininity is not just about looks, I'm seeing these come. We can do both. Well, you don't want to listen. You're obstinate and you don't want to listen. I literally quantified before I even started by saying, listen, I love hair and beauty and makeup too. I was scouted on the streets of New York City 3 separate times by modeling agencies. The last time I was 35 years old. She thought I was 24. I love beauty. Love it. Hair, makeup. I was a diva in my 20s and 30s. I would hit the club scene and people would part the seas when I walked through a club. Be clear. And I'm not being boastful or braggadocious. I'm telling you. People would ask to stop and take pictures of me and put them on their website photos. I've been stopped in the street by professional photographers. I had an executive at Versace, high up executive at Versace, stopped me on the street and asked me if I was a model and tell me he wanted to take me out. I was scouted by a music video talent agent. And no, I don't have a big butt. but I had some banging legs, and she told me she could get me some work. With a bald head, by the way. With a bald head, I had no hair. I had a Caesar haircut. She's like, your style is fabulous. I can get you work in music videos.
Yeah.
I was on the Shadow boat ride Tuesdays or Wednesday night down at Pier something. The nightclub The Shadow in New York City, one of the oldest running nightclubs. And they used to have a boat ride, and I was on the boat ride, and she was on the boat ride, and she came up to me and gave me her card and said, I can get you work. I didn't pursue it, but she told me that. And then a week or two later, I saw her on BET's making of the music video or something, and I think it was Usher, and they were showing the background of Usher video. I don't remember what video it was, and she came on the screen and they interviewed her, and she was the casting agent, and I know it was her because she had this long 17-syllable kind of made up hood name, Tata Lata Isha Aka. And I said, God damn it, where's the card? Where's the card? So be clear when I'm saying to you, beauty, I've always coveted beauty, wanted to be beautiful. So y'all think y'all are talking to a young girl, so you think you can argue with me. You can't argue with me. Y'all haven't lived long enough to argue with me. And I'm not saying that to be boastful. I know when I say stuff like that, y'all think I'm being arrogant. It's like I've earned my stripes. I'm almost 50 years old.
Right.
You know,
I want to just interrupt you for a second, though, real quick, Kendall.
About looks and hair and all that. Y'all get mad because that's what you want. You want to be because you want it to be that simple. And I'm not going to teach that it's that simple.
Right. Well, Kendall, I want to just circle back real quick because you did answer the question. You said unequivocally yes, white women do raise better sons because of what you said earlier, what they are willing to do and cut off and not accept. So be clear that if Black women were to be as ruthless as white women are about their mate selection, many of you would be without a woman, without a legacy, and without a bloodline. If we attributed the same standards that the collective of white women use to judge whether somebody is worthy of husbandry, of a fatherhood, many of you would not qualify. So
I told them that years ago. I've heard somebody, who did I say? I heard a lot of these young sisters now saying stuff, and I swear to God, I'm like, do you have my video stashed somewhere and you're going back and listening to them? Because they're literally word for word saying what I was saying when I came to YouTube in 2016. I heard a video, I can't remember who it was, and it doesn't really matter, but they literally said that if Black women were to start choosing better, most of you wouldn't get chose. Y'all remember
exactly.
when I said that?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember when I said, you better, matter of fact, I did a video called Be Careful What You Ask For. Because if Black women start actually using a true standard of manhood for our mate choices and reproductive choices, many of you who think you're going to make the cut would not.
Right.
I said that years ago. I'm glad, I guess, that y'all are finally understanding. So the thing is, and I said it before, the Black community better be very careful. I said, I'm going to make you rue the day. You said to choose better, and I'm going to explain to Black women what that really means. And I said Black people, and more specifically in this case, certain sectors of Black men, wanted to dictate what choosing better looks like. You don't get to dictate to a woman what choosing better looks like. The woman is the first cause.
That's right.
She's the womb, right? So she has to have a standard of what it means to choose better. And if that standard, because of lots of different reasons, weeds and factors you out, too bad.
Yeah.
The problem is the community wants you to choose better according to its standards, with its ever-moving goalposts that expand to include ever more numbers of really males who are not qualified.
Right.
Because nobody wants to be told that they don't qualify. So they're on one hand telling you to choose better, and the next hand is, but give a brother a chance.
Yes.
One hand is stop choosing thugs, but the next hand is, you need to have realistic standards. Which is it?
Right. And the thing is, The definition of high value man is also a moving target, because certain people are saying high value, okay, you make six figures and up. Kendall, we know what the percentage of black men who make over $100,000, don't we? And so now the counter is, well, but you need to be a 10 and Beyonce is an 8 to qualify for a high value man. And if you are not better looking than Beyonce, then you should just be happy with whatever you get. You see how they always win. They can always find a way to make it be the responsibility of the woman. And ultimately, that is on us because we allow it, we buy it, we consume it, we pay for it, we take it in, we internalize it. This is what we do as women. We take on, we're out here playing soccer, trying to get the ball to the goalpost. The goalpost done switch to the left, switch to the right, gone south, gone north, gone east, gone west, and we'll just go wherever that goalpost is instead of just saying, wait a minute, keep it where it is. Let's say these are the rules. This is what we're going to do, and that's it. We don't, and that's on us.
I see y'all are triggered as hell in this comment section. So unfortunate. You're so silly. And I don't mean that, but you're just so silly. You're so easily triggered. The moment somebody says something that hurts your little feelings, you're in your, listen, I saw a comment that said, you're wrong, KSC, beauty matters. Did I say beauty didn't matter? You're hearing what you want to hear. This is part of the reason why I had to leave, because I can't have these pedestrian emotional conversations with y'all. Nuance what I'm saying here. Did I say that looks don't matter? In what world where human beings have eyes in the front of their head for a reason? We have visual abilities for a reason. No one is saying that looks don't matter. What I'm saying is y'all think looks only matter.
Yes. And that's also what the narrative is teaching as well, that looks only matter.
No, and listen, nuance what I'm saying. Y'all are looking for an official 10 commandments. It is this, it's not that. It's that, it's not this. And this is why you're so easily glamored. You want an exact, absolute rule book. No, the truth is in the gray.
Even if it doesn't work, they want it even if it doesn't work. That's the thing.
No one is saying that beauty is not important as a woman. No one is. I know that males are visual creatures and they choose, a lot based off of sexual attraction and visuals. And that makes sense. Like they're wired to do that. So by no means am I saying that you can roll up off the hot presses looking like anything and think you're going to get the top of the line dude. No one is saying that. But because what I'm saying to you means that it's not enough, now you're triggered.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're triggered. And it's unfortunate that that's how you get. Anytime somebody bursts your little girl butt, that's what I'm saying. You want to be a princess, Ma.
Yeah.
And princesshood is fine. It's just not the domain of womanhood.
Mm-hmm.
Being a princess is for little girls. Y'all are not little girls anymore. You're grown women.
And the princess, if she lives long enough, is supposed to become the queen.
The queen, yes. And some of you want to be the queen. You don't want
the princess.
Be the sovereign queen.
I mean, you think about
the queen who gets chosen by the king and then just gives him princes and princesses. But what you need to be is the sovereign queen. There's different kinds of queens. There's a dowager queen who is the mother of the king. There's different kinds of queens. But the matriarch queen, the sovereign queen, she rules in her own right.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all don't want that level of responsibility. You want a daddy who can bounce you on your knee, who can also give you babies and take care of you. Mm-hmm. And I'm not, listen, if that's what you want, that's your, that's your business, as Tabitha Brown says. But don't lie to yourself and say, oh, and that's queenhood. Like that's me wanting to be the CEO of my household and wanting to be the matriarch of my bloodline, because it is not the same thing. I had an event called Mothers versus matriarchs, because it's a completely different mindset. And if all you want to be is a mother, that's fine. But please don't confuse the two, because they're not the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
White women in general, not every single one walking the planet, they operate like matriarchs.
Yes, they do.
So when someone said, "Do I think that black women, that white women raise a better caliber of son than white women?" Do white women raise a better caliber of son and man than black women? I answered yes, and that is the reason why. White women in general operate like matriarchs, and black women operate like mothers, and it is different.
Mm-hmm.
It's fundamentally different.
Yes.
Motherhood is about your relationship to that child. Matriarchy, right? Being the matriarch, and I ain't talking about that welfare matriarch stuff that, the black community is I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the true understanding of what the matriarch energy is. It's about the relationship to the bloodline. It's not about just emotions and whether or not, it's just a different, I'm not going to go into all of that, but it's just different. But the reason why I know, so Chris, you opened up and asked, what do I see going on in 2020? What is it revealing to me? What it is revealing amongst a whole bunch of other stuff, but just let's limit it to black women in our sector, right? In this sector of black women who are looking for answers. What it's revealing is that some of you will level up, as y'all say. Some of you will do well in life because you're willing to cultivate the highest version of yourself for yourself. And then as a byproduct of that will magnetize to you all the things that you want in life. And some of you will not.
Mm-hmm.
Because it requires work.
Right.
And you don't want to put in work. You want to be told, or you want the work to be easy and ego stroking, and you want it to just be about hair and makeup. And that is not. But y'all don't have to take my word for it. Do it how you want to do it. And maybe by the time you get to be my age, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
But see, you try to avoid that, but you think when you're young, you know better. Well, if I just look this certain way, I want to see where the success is of just getting a different wig, putting on some makeup, losing 20 pounds. I want to see if solely doing that. Somebody just recently asked me, do you think that a person's outward appearance is a reflection of what's going on with them on the inside? And my answer was not necessarily, and sometimes no. People, what they portray on the outside can be very different from what's going on internally. And we focus on very surface things, very surface things. And so everything we think the fix is very surface. Even when we go to church, everything is, what's the pastor wearing? What's the sister over here next to me wearing? How's the music? Am I giving that peptide rush, that emotional thing? Give me these quick fixes to make my life better. I feel good, and that's it. But don't make me go deep. Don't make me evaluate what I need to do. Just give me what I need in the moment so I can feel good. And so everything is surface, everything. And it's really, I think, it's hard for us to internalize that all of this takes work and it's a process. And, here we are, Kendall and I are both pushing the half-century mark, and it took us a while to get there. There is no such thing as knowing the right wig and color palette and shoes to get to leapfrog over the process that we're still going through. There just is not that.
And it's not, y'all are thinking that it's just like some destination you arrive at, and that's not how it works. Mm-hmm. Womanhood and femininity is an ever evolving, unfolding process. There's a comment that I saw, and it says, "I'm going to be whatever version of woman that allows me to be treated like a princess by my provider man." And I wish you well on that. What I would suggest you do, sis, is go look up. Go do some research on the archetype of the princess and how princesses are usually treated. See, what the problem, okay, I'm going to give y'all another example. I heard a video one time on YouTube, and in the video, the sis was talking about different archetypes, and she used the example of the siren. And she was talking about all of the things that the siren represents. And if you're, are you that archetype of woman? And when I listened to her description of what a siren is, I don't know. I don't think she had done her research.
Wait. A siren?
Yes, a siren.
You mean the woman
And
who?
you know what was being said.
Wait. I'm sorry to cut you off, but the siren from Greek mythology, who has such a beautiful voice that causes the sailors to crash into the rocks.
Yes. But the way this person was using the archetype of the siren was that she just lures men with her beauty and her sensuality. And then made the statement about the siren is not a man-hating feminist. She sees herself as a compliment to men. And that is not what a siren is.
She's a killer. She's a cold-blooded killer. What is she talking about?
Right. And so this is what I'm talking about. So when sis just says, I'm going to be whatever archetype it takes, whatever my provider man takes to treat me like a princess, I'm not going to argue with you, sis. You think you know? Go be a princess. Do you know what princesses' lives are really like? Historically, do you know what the life of a princess has been? I'm not talking about Disney.
Look at Meghan Markle. She was never going to be princess, but even just remotely, it's a tremendous amount of, we're talking about the literal version of princess, and we know that you're talking about you just want to be pampered and, be able to live a, essentially mostly worry-free life. I get it.
But listen, you can't change the fruit of a thing without changing the root of a thing. Y'all want to go and create new definitions. Archetypes are archetypes. I mean, they span space and time. Mm-hmm. And so let me give you an example. When I had my platform open, I had something that I was calling the Magic of Self. And I had Magic of Self 1, and then I had the Magic of Self 2. And I called it the Feminine Alchemy Academy. And in that event, we studied, I don't even remember how many archetypes of womanhood based on ancient goddess archetypes. And the reason why I did that, and not just African goddesses from all over the planet, who represented different energies. And we did an in-depth study on each archetype. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted Black women to begin to root, the women who were taking the course, to begin to root their understanding of femininity in something deeper and more ancient than whatever is in fashion right now. Because when shit gets rough out here as a woman, when all of the flash is gone and you're now a mother and you have the responsibility of children and you're running a household and you're doing all, and the princess stuff is worn off, you need something stronger to hold you. You need meat and potatoes. Mm-hmm. I'm vegan now, but you know what I mean. A salad ain't gonna behold you but so much. And Chinese food, as good as it tastes, got a lot of MSG, and it give you a headache and you be hungry in an hour.
Right.
It's not the same. And so you need something deeper to root your femininity in. And so we spent weeks going into different archetypes of different goddesses, Kali, Sekhmet. I mean, all of these different archetypes of womanhood, some sweet, some not so much. Because the point was to get y'all away from this ideal of thinking that true femininity is sugar and spice and everything nice. No, true femininity, true womanhood and femininity, womanity, it is creative and destructive. Mm-hmm. And you know this because watch how Black women have used their wombs to destroy this community.
Boop. Mic drop.
You're not going to like that. You birth more than just great little blessings with your womb, honey. You can birth monsters into your community. You can birth serial killers and rapists. Mm-hmm. You can birth possessed people. I mean, there's lots of things that you can create with the womb. It's not just, womanhood is both creator and destructor, and y'all don't want to accept that you can be destructive.
Yeah.
And so you want the princess archetype, right? Because it looks good, and you've heard and you've seen on TV, and you think the princess is a pampered girl who gets taken care of by her man. What does it cost her? Read, study, and listen. I'm not saying, and here we're gonna go. So you're saying that I shouldn't want to be taken care of by a man? Nope, that's not what I'm saying. Don't glamour yourself. What does it cost you to be taken care of by a man?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like the siren thing. Like someone says something silky and sweet, and y'all fall for it. But just a little research would have made it very clear that that is not what the siren archetype is. A little research would make it very clear what the princess is. The princess is a pawn. Her womb is a pawn. It is used to barter and broker power deals. Do y'all know what it is that y'all are
Yeah, you're
aspiring
like,
to?
yeah, I mean, basically you're at, that is what she's passed around. She's a, she's
Yeah,
a
she don't have
semen
no choices.
receptacle, and a
She
baby
don't have
making
no
factory.
choice.
And
She's
who
married
can
to
wear a
a
fancy dress and live in a nice house, but her worth is in her nether regions.
yes, and her womb to produce the royal heir. That's what it is. It's not all of this stuff. Yeah, she may live, in a nice little castle, but did y'all know that historically, a lot of times princesses were not even ever allowed to leave the castle, ever? Like, and this is why coming out of Fantasy Island and like getting your head in some other things like books and history, like books, like books, it begins to reshape some of this stuff that y'all have going on. And so as far as I'm concerned, listen, as long as y'all want to be little girls, and I'm not going to stop you from wanting to be a little girl. It just, being a maiden all the way well into womanhood doesn't usually turn out well for women. You want to be a little girl who wants to remain a princess bouncing on daddy's knee, then don't be surprised when daddy spanks that ass.
Ooh.
I told these women years ago. I forgot. It was some video I did, and I told. It's so funny because now all this conversation about beta males and alpha males, and I just chuckle because I just do. And so I had a conversation I did a video on YouTube, and I heard they're feeling so bad when I told them that most of them they don't qualify for an alpha male. They were so, oh my God, I think they tried to flag my video down. They were so upset when I told them that most of you cannot handle an alpha male.
Okay, go on.
You can't handle him. You're looking to be a princess with an alpha male. No, 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 no. Now, I'm not saying that you can't work with maybe a beta with some alpha tendencies. You may, if you have the right temperament and mindset, you may be able to rock with an alpha with some beta tendencies. But that apex alpha that y'all all think you want, he will devour you.
I got a super chat. And the sad thing is the women who are stuck on such basic concepts as understanding personal responsibility will be the ones who come against women who understand it.
Yes, that's what
exactly
they're doing
what
right
happened.
now. That's what y'all are doing right now in the comment section. Some of you, not all of you, some of you. You're in your feelings because I'm blowing up your little girl fantasies. You want to be told that hypergamy is just about hair and makeup and securing bags. Honey, let me tell you something. I've secured my own bag. Can't nobody take my bag from me. Y'all want to be put in these very vulnerable positions because you don't understand what they really are, and you believe you've drank the Kool-Aid when you see other races of women live in certain lifestyles. And I get it. You want to be taken care of, and you want to have nice things. You want your children to be taken care of, but what you don't understand is what that. Let me give y'all an example of what I mean. Years ago, I used to do a little. Styling, personal styling. And one of my friends, she was really, really in the industry. And we started working on this wealthy white woman that we were associated with because of some other stuff that we did, had her 40th birthday coming up. And so she was getting ready for this big 40th birthday bash, y'all. Her husband rented out the Boom Boom Room. They were flying people in. She was already a size 2, and she had been working out like 6 days a week to get to a size 0. And it was a big deal. Jewels made, like the whole thing. And so we were taking her to different places because we were choosing outfits for her for this whole big bash. And she wanted this dress that was going to be fabulous. She wanted this dress that was going to make a statement. And we were having a hard time finding the dress that was really, really the thing she wanted. She had been working out. She was literally a size 0. And she had been working out. When we would go out to eat, she's eating like 2 pieces of lettuce, and this is the woman, her husband was a multi-million, big multi-million. When we were together, it was always a car with a driver. It was like the whole New York, really upper crust thing going on. And so when we had pulled some outfits for her, and so there was one in particular, y'all, this dress, when I tell you, she put this dress on, and it was like, it was made for her. It was lace. It had a lace black overlay with the sheer underlay. It was off the shoulder. It was form fitting, and then it was mermaid. And it was the best dress out of and these dresses that we're pulling for her are $8, $9, $10, $12,000 dresses. And we had taken her to several different places, and she would buy some of the stuff. She's like, "Oh, I'll wear this to the lunch, that week." But we hadn't found the exact dress that she wanted. So we found this dress, ladies. Oh my God. I have pictures of it. I think I even showed it in one of my groups one time. And this dress was made for her. She had been working out, so she had this cute little tight, petite body. And this dress was it was out of everything that we had shown her, it was the one. And she put it on, and she turned around and looked at herself. She was like, "Oh, this is everything." And she pranced around for 15 minutes, and she says, "But I can't wear it." And I was like,
"Wait, what?
What? I can't." She says, "I can't wear this. It's inappropriate." Now, I didn't understand, because this was before I knew what I know now, why the dress was inappropriate. Nothing was showing, right? It was a full dress. It was just off the shoulder, but it was fully form-fitting, and it had like a mermaid train. So to me, she wasn't naked, so what was the big deal? And she says, "I can't." She's like, "My husband, I can't show up in this dress." Yeah, I said, "But it's your 40th birthday." See, because I was thinking like a black woman. This is your 40th birthday. This is the best dress. You've been working so hard. Your body is great. Like, this dress is everything. And she says, "I cannot wear this dress." And I remember distinctly thinking, I didn't say it because I understood, but I said, I would never let no man tell me. See, I would never let no man. Now, mind you, when we left that place, when we left the store, I forgot what store we were in, she got into her Lincoln Navigator with her personal driver, and I walked to the damn subway. But I was in my black woman head talking about I would never let no man tell me if I could buy. This man, by the time the whole thing was done, had spent probably $300,000 on her birthday. And in my mind, but he's not gonna tell me what kind of dress I can wear.
See, you are saying a word today.
I was young and dumb, and I was thinking like a typical black woman. Y'all are not ready for the kind. Most of you are so busy in your princess fantasy, what you're thinking your provider is just going to come in. You don't understand. I'm not going to even get into the darker aspects of it, because y'all would really lose your minds, and you would get your feelings really hurt, and you would be trying to flag Crystalline down. You're already going to be talking about how I'm selling her brand and why does she keep bringing me on, because I'm just so cold and mannish and this and that, and I'm selling all the crap that y'all try to tell her about me. So I'm going to not go too deep and too dark, because it's going to really hurt your little girl feelings. But y'all, the cost of the lifestyle that so many of you think you want, most of you have no clue of what it is, because you think that it's about being a princess. And I'm telling you, I'm from New York City. I have worked with and for very wealthy people. I've known very wealthy white women, Jewish women. Their lives are nothing like what people are selling y'all on YouTube.
Yeah, I've been trying to say.
But y'all don't want to hear that.
You're not just sitting around filing your nails. The expectations are huge. Yeah. They really are.
It's
Somebody asked.
Competitive.
Yeah. Somebody asked.
It's just not.
I'm sorry to cut you off but I just want to say this while
No.
because we're talking about alpha males and what qualifies. Somebody in the chat tagged me and said, "What does KSC consider an alpha male?" Mm, we're all listening. Kendall, you still there?
I'm there. I don't think that that you guys are ready for my definition of an alpha male. I'll give you a little bit. I won't tell you what he is. I'll tell you a little bit of some of what he does and what he requires. Just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If you think that an alpha male, especially an apex alpha, is going to sit all day in your face telling you how pretty and protected and provided you are all day long, you're out of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
If you think, see, y'all don't want to hear, I got to watch what I say because my definition may not be Crystalline's definition, and I don't want to say something that y'all are going to hold her accountable for. So I have to be careful what I say going here. This is why I go into the shadows to say certain things because some of y'all are just not ready and you'll be confused and you'll be hurt and then you'll blame Chris. I will say
because
this.
you'll be gone and disappeared, and the only person they can blame is the person
That's
who's
left
still
is
here.
you, and then you got to take the hit for it. And I don't want you to have to be there. I will say this. So go ahead and get in your feelings now. If you think that you're one pussy, so y'all don't want to hear it, and I'm trying to keep it light because, like I said, I'm not, y'all will attribute anything I say to Chris, and Chris may have a very different understanding, but you asked me. So let me speak for me, not me speaking for Chris and everybody else in the Western Hemisphere. But if you think that your alpha man is not going to need more than just you, even if you're his wife, you're out of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he's significantly older.
Yeah.
You're not ready to hear that kind of stuff because that's sad, right? You want to be the apple of his eye, you want to be this, that, and I'm not getting into. And I swear, if y'all start that, well, not every single alpha. Don't ask questions you don't want answers to.
Right.
It's the truth of it is, it's just there's just levels to this shit, and we all want more than we are really qualified for. Men too. Men want the top of the line women, and they ain't qualified. Half of these dudes sitting on YouTube talking about let me tell you this. I will say this. I have never, and I've known a lot. I have never met an alpha male, a true alpha male, who says I am an alpha male.
Preach. Okay.
I have never heard
who's truly
a
been an alpha male. Yeah.
call himself an alpha male. Never, not once in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
White, black, red, yellow. I have never heard. They don't refer to themselves as alpha male.
They do not. If you have to tell people that you're an alpha, you are not one. Even Donald Trump, with all of his bluster, you never hear himself call himself an alpha. He just is. He is. He's a jerk, but he is definitely an alpha male. And you never hear him going around saying I'm an alpha. Everybody just knows. It's just implied.
Yeah. No, they don't want, y'all are not ready to hear that. And I understand it. But someone says, Sipping Socialite says it's time to grow up. And without growing up, you can't become a woman. And some of y'all want to be children in grown women's bodies. Mm-hmm. And I understand, I get it. You didn't get to be a princess. You didn't get to be a little girl thinking about princessy stuff when you were little girls. And so now you want to catch up. But honey, you can't be a princess as a woman. Princesshood is a domain of girlhood, but motherhood, wifehood, the position of the matriarch is is the domain of womanhood, of adult femaleness. And many of you are not. You don't want that. Y'all want to. You want to be bounced on someone's knee. And listen, there's a kink for that. You get paid for that, but you want to build your whole life around that, and I just foresee a lot of disappointment. Why do you think? I'll say it like this. Why do you think white women fought for um, alimony and palimony and and child support and divorce laws? Why do you think if this life that y'all want, that you think they have, is so wonderful, then why did they have to fight so hard to protect themselves? Because they were getting got.
Yes, they were. Yes,
they were getting left. They were getting left and right.
With nothing.
You know, left and right in their middle age when they needed the security the most, and their husbands were leaving them for the secretary. So they had to.
See, that's what I'm saying. They always see. That's a powerful woman. She can see, you know what? This is really not a good deal for me. My man is in control, so I'm going to change the law. It's the same thing going back to slavery. So all these black chicks coming over here with these fancy hairstyles that I can't do with my, very limited straight hair. This is a problem, and he's sneaking over there. I need to tell my man, you need to tell that woman to cover up her hair. She need to cover up her hair. They always do. They always will do what is in the best interest of them, and they will be willing to tell you to your face something very different than what they actually do, which is what happened when somebody said, Crystalline, you were about to talk about Trump. And what I was going to say was white women can say very publicly what they don't like about Trump, but they still, I think it was 57% of white women voted for Donald Trump, even the second time. And he dog whistled them. He said, suburban women, will you please love me? I kept the low-income housing out of your neighborhoods. I hear you guys don't love me. Can you please love me? That was a dog whistle. I am the border of defense between you and all these Negroes and all these Hispanics and all these other folks that can jeopardize your position. And so I'm working to keep these people away from you. And while they can say whatever they want, the results show that they made the decision that was ultimately best for them. And what Kendall is saying is that we are not willing to make those decisions as Black women. We're not willing to be as selfish as it would take, that it would take in order to affect that change.
And we're not willing to make, see, here's the difference. Here's the primary difference. Black women, generation after generation, will get caught out there with an unplanned, untimed pregnancy in their teens or early 20s. And just go ahead and have the baby, right? And the baby will be a girl. And they'll grow up, as they're raising that girl child, they don't prepare her at all for the eventuality of her womanhood. They don't prepare her for her sexuality. They don't teach her about her reproductive cycle, and they don't put her on birth control, right? So at 17, at 12, when the girl comes on her period, the mother throws a maxi pad and a warning at her.
Yes.
Don't bring no babies in this house. And that's the extent of her feminine training. That's the extent of her reproductive training. Keep the books open and your legs closed. That's the extent of what your mother, who herself got caught out there, by the way, because no one had taught her anything. That's what she will give to you. So then you being out here, of course, hot in the ass because It is natural for teenagers to be hot in the ass, even the
Yes.
girl one, because
Mhm.
that's biology. I don't care what y'all religious stuff says. Girls get hot too, and she's not been taught anything about how to not get pregnant, how to choose properly. She doesn't have any emotional intelligence. No one has prepared her for life as a woman. Nothing. And then she go out there, and guess what she does?
She get pregnant.
And then the mother comes home and says, "Didn't I tell you don't get pregnant?" So let me tell you the difference. Let me tell you what a white woman do. That white woman will take her child if she even suspects. Sometimes even if she don't, she will take her child to the gynecologist, have her
Yes.
worked up, make sure everything's okay, and then she will put her on birth control because she's not going to send some young, silly, hot in the ass 15-year-old girl out into the world with a loaded coochie. The whole future of the bloodline on some nonsense. She's not going to destroy her bloodline over some fake moral nonsense. It's the social and her voting, right? She'll come out and say that all blinds are a blessing. But you best believe if her 16-year-old daughter come home pregnant, she's going to take that girl to the private doctor to get a DNC, even as she votes against your rights to go to Planned Parenthood, because she's not going to let some ignorant, hot in the ass teenager throw the whole bloodline off
Right.
for 10 generations.
Said a
She's not going
loaded
to do that.
coochie.
Because that's what it is. It's in essence, it's like giving a loaded gun to a 3-year-old and saying, "Okay, don't shoot nobody." So when I made posts years ago and videos saying, "If you know what I know, you take your daughter and get her control, teach her about her body, help her understand ovulation, know what sex is, what it isn't, understand what semen is, when can you get pregnant? Do you know that semen can live in the body up to 72 hours? Do you know
Yes.
that male semen swim faster but die quicker? Female semen,
Well,
female
hang
sperm
around for 3 days. Female
hang
semen.
around for fucking days. Like, do you know that being on antibiotics lessens birth control? Do you know that if you have a certain BMI, that the Plan B will not work? So if majority of black women are overweight or a little fluffy, and you going to get a Plan B because the condom broke because you was fucking around, it's probably not going to work, and you're going to end up pregnant. Are you teaching your daughters what it is to be a woman? Are you leaving her emotionally vulnerable to the first dude that blows on her neck? Are you preparing her for the eventuality of womanhood? No. You take her to church and tell her that Jesus said, "Keep your legs closed." See, that's the difference between a mother and a matriarch.
Yes. Oh my God, you said loaded coochie.
Yes, it is a loaded coochie. You send a girl who is hot in her ass out into the wilderness, especially in the black community. You send her out where your son is not coming home at night because he's out chasing behind somebody else's daughter. So you know what's waiting for these girls, and you don't do nothing to arm them, to protect them.
That's right.
So they don't let the ignorance of youth destroy their future.
They won't.
You don't do anything to protect. I don't understand it. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. But that is the difference between a matriarch and a mother.
That's right.
The matriarch is not worried about that. The matriarch cares about the result. The mother's worried about feelings and morals and what did Jesus say. The matriarch says, "I don't know what Jesus said, but I know what that hot ass cookie's gonna say. And if I don't get an IUD up in there, she's gonna fuck up my whole plan."
Right.
And not just my plan, my mother's plan, and the plan before that. We done ate a lot of shit and dealt with a lot of crap from these men
Right.
to secure our position. And I'm not going to let my silly, hot in the ass teenage girl come and derail the whole bloodline.
That's right.
So I'm taking her to get her on birth control. I'm teaching her about her body. I'm letting her understand what men are, what they're not. And I know she's going to have a hot in the ass phase when she go to college. She's not going to bring no baby home as a result of it. How many black girls go away to college, y'all? So many of my friends this happened to, and come back the
Pregnant.
sophomore year, the first semester of their sophomore year, pregnant.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it was.
Yes.
They will drop out of school and have a baby and then spend the next 20 years trying to catch up, going to night school. Now, why would you do that to yourself? And why would any mother who loved their child? See, I'm on a when I say that stuff, that's when y'all start accusing me of being a genocidist. And I'm working with Margaret Sanger. All right, that's fine. I'm a genocidist. Me and Margaret, we having tea right now. That's fine. In the meantime, the white woman is a matriarch, and you're a basic bum bitch mother.
and your man and your son, your man hates you for it. That's why they're up here. That's why they're up here every night telling you that you come here, eat this food, this shit I call food, come eat it, and you sit down and you eat it every single day, every single night.
But here is the deal also, what y'all are not picking up on this. Black men, they're a complex being. They're a complex creature. And as much as they do that, Chris, and talk that shit, and as much as they don't really want it because their egos are so, like, fragile, they want you to reclaim your position. They want you to be worthy of the work that it would take for them to get a seat at the table of men. They want it. They just don't like what that would look like. They
Right.
don't. So it's like it's like the child who wants the parent to give them discipline and love and structure, but hates being told what to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They are very angry. They say that they're angry because you're trying to dominate them. Yes, on the surface level, I think that's what it is, because you're egomaniacal. So yes, you throw your weight around and you use the fact that, you know, you use your position in a way that it's bossy and it's all that. And I get that. I'm a mother. I'm a single mother, so I've had to be bossy too, because you got to make shit happen.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also very angry with you. And I heard somebody else say this in a video recently, and I just smiled because, once again, this is something I said years ago. They're also, the deeper anger and the deeper wound is that you deny them true manhood because you won't call it out of them. Mm-hmm. So it's like, on one hand, they're asking you to give them everything for free. And then when you give it to them, it feels good in the moment as long as they staying in a hood amongst each other. But then when they got to look outside of this environment and look into the larger world and see their position in it, now they're very angry with you.
Yes. Yes.
They're very angry because you did not call out and you did not demand that you did not say, I'm not giving you a single more child until you do right by me. Everything you do is going to fail. You didn't say that to them. You said, no, I'm going to give you more black love babies for you to walk away from. So the ones who are a little half decent, or at least not,
if we just stop wearing weaves and red lipstick, they'll come back. They'll come back.
The ones who think of themselves as not being that bad, they're the ones who are now yelling and screaming about y'all choose thugs, y'all choose thugs. And the reason why they keep saying that is because they're saying, I don't fit completely the description. Now we know that that's a murky definition, because we know there's a lot of, on point brothers who are baby daddies and keep women in rotation. So be nuance what I'm saying here. In general, what they're saying is, you won't demand better from us. You won't. That's why they keep saying choose better. You refuse to do it because you want to be lazy and fat and bossy, and all that stuff. That's why they were mad at Gabby Sidibe, right? Because Gabby was, the whole thing is, if you don't do it the right way, then you should be punished. And if you are validated by someone else, then you're not doing what you're supposed to do over here, which is incentivizing us to be better men. Ultimately, what they're mad at is that you allow them to be subpar. And not for nothing, I agree with them. Mm-hmm. You allow them, because you cater to their nonsense and because you're power hungry, you allow them to be lesser versions of themselves. And because they're lesser versions of themselves, they'll deal with you as lesser versions of yourself. And so it becomes a feedback loop. Mm-hmm. So they're angry with you. And rightfully so. But what they don't want to admit is what the answer is. The answer is that if you were to choose better,
here we go.
85% of them. I give you 75%. Because you got the 10% that are just those dudes, and then you got like another 15% that is probably workable. But the majority of them they would just get tossed. Mm-hmm. And that leaves the Black American community in a very what y'all gonna do with 80% of these Negroes?
Right.
If y'all don't take them off the mother's hand, where they gonna go?
Exactly.
So they don't. So that you would have actually used the standards that they keep telling you to use, it would cause complete chaos in this community. If y'all think that the thug is violent now,
oh girl,
please.
If he got cut, oh man, it would be blood in the streets.
Going to come into and here's the question, and I asked them this years ago: are y'all good brothers who are telling us that we need to filter out the riffraff? You won't come in and deal with him. We need to filter him out in our reproductive and sexual mate selection choices. Okay, well then, are you willing to take us from him when he realized he's being cut off? Do y'all know what desperate, horny, angry, rejected men do of any race?
Girl, go
look at all the studies. This is why you have to read something else and come off of YouTube and read about what happens when males, when there's not enough pussy to go around, but there's no women for them to be married to and to have children with. They become dangerous.
They do.
That's what patriarchy. What patriarchy did in essence was redistribute the coochie because okay, y'all asked me for it, so I'm giving it to you. Am I giving too much? Because I can provide.
No, keep going. Keep going, girl. They're loving it. We got 1,600 people in here. Keep going.
Patriarchy redistributed the coochie so that not only the alpha male was getting all the chicks, because what was happening is now you have all of these beta males roaming around mad, and they kept storming the castle.
Yeah, so raping and pillaging.
Raping and pillaging and trying to dismantle the elite, right? So what they did was he said, okay, we're going to give you, some of these beta girls, right? You have one, and you marry her, and you work hard for us in this system, and you die in our wars, and you go in our factories, and you work our land, and we come and we tax your ass to death. But at least all of that aggression and that sexual libido, it's going somewhere, and it's going to this woman, and then you take care of the babies that come from that. And that way, you're not constantly trying to dismantle our shit at the top. So that's where you get that every man is the king of his castle.
Of his own castle.
A little plot of land,
right.
On somebody else's. Even if you're a serf on the king's land, you got a woman and some children. Now you got something to put that testosterone towards.
Yes.
So I know I'm going deep on y'all. I told y'all I could go deep. So that's what that is. Like, that's what that was. And so the whole setup is to create an order in which the male energy, the male testosterone, the male is given somewhere, is channeled in a direction that's not destructive to society. But they need you to play. They need you to play your role in that. So they need you to agree to the setup in order to keep these men out of, either that or they would just have to kill off all the men, which they do sometimes. They create wars to cull the herd with the males, because a lot of males, when there's too many males, they become dangerous. It's a whole bunch of this is just a whole other conversation.
Yeah, but no, this is exactly. I actually read a book recently about this. It was a novel, but it was based on that. They were this tribe of after the apocalypse and the world ended, they had this group of people, and they had too many boys, and they said, we got to send them out to fight the monsters because there's too many of them, and we're not gonna be able to feed them, and we just need to get rid of them. So yes. Wars are used. So can you imagine?
So the problem is, if y'all don't know, if my mentor always says, to know a thing is to know a thing. If you don't know what it is that you are aspiring to in this femininity, what is it you're buying into? Do y'all know what you're buying into? Do you know what it is that you want to be a part of? All you're thinking is, I want the pressure off. I'm tired of being the mule. I'm trying to be in the Rosanante, the workhorse. I'm tired of being the strong black woman. And ladies, I understand that. That shit is exhausting. I've done it. I've been a single black mother raising a kid by myself in New York. I know what that looks like. I know what it feels like to be tired. But don't trade out one fantasy for another. And that's what I think a lot is what's going on. So you don't want to know the truth about what it takes to be what that white woman is. You don't want to know. Because the moment someone starts telling you, y'all get in your feelings, just like you are in the comments. Some of y'all, I've been reading the comments and you just get so triggered when someone comes and bursts your little girl bubbles about being a princess and having some man just take care of you forever and ever. What is so special about your coochie that he's going to take care of you forever and ever just because you have a coochie? There's there's 8-9 billion people on the planet and half of them got coochie. What's so special about yours? You got to bring something else to the table. And I'm not talking about that nonsense of cooking and that mess that black men talking about being a domestic servant to him. And I'm talking about calling out of him manhood. And that means you can't be a princess. Like, little girls don't call out manhood in men. Women do. Yes. That means you have to operate with a lot of emotional regulation and management and mastery. That means you can't, be in your feelings about every little thing. That means that you can't expect him to sit in if he's out in the world conquering and bringing you home to meet, he's going to work a lot of hours. He's going to be gone. And you don't know everything he's doing while he's gone. And you're going to have to accept that kind of comes with the territory. I saw a comment, someone says, well, I'm not going to have no man bring me home no diseases. If you're talking about a high quality man, he's not sleeping with no, y'all don't get it.
Yeah, they ain't sleeping with no $2 hookers.
No.
I mean, there's some societies have you all seen those Asian movies where women are actually raised and cultivated to be the mistresses of these men?
Courtesans, yes, and geishas and all of that. Them women, listen, did y'all know that? And we did a whole study about that in my group. Y'all missed out because I was talking about all this stuff for years. That courtesans and geishas and stuff back in the day, that they were considered higher quality than the wives. A lot of times in those societies, the wives couldn't even read. I'm not gonna. That's just too deep for y'all. But the courtesan was the educated one. She was the worldly one. She was the one who knew how to engage the world. She could discuss art and literature. The wives couldn't. The wives was the brood mare. Y'all ain't ready to hear this. Y'all not ready to hear that. And I'm not going to be bursting no more bubbles because y'all get mad and then you come for me and then you flag down my shit.
No, they going to come for me. They going to come for me.
Lipstick Alley.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to burst any more of your bubbles. But the truth of it is you don't even know what you're aspiring to. And it's not difficult. Just learn a little bit about the history of marriage. I'm not saying don't get married. Know what you're signing up for. There's a reason why 80% of marriages are divorces are initiated by women in the United States. And it's because weddings happen in church, but divorces happen in court, honey. That fantasy that you have it's silly, and it's based off of movies and novellas, and it's not about the matriarch's position. And so a lot of you are aspiring to something you don't truly understand. And then when someone tries to come in and explain to you the shadow side of what it means, you get in your feelings. And now you're going to try to challenge me. So here is the deal. I'm here, for a good time, not a long time. Me and Chris decided to come together to have this quick little conversation, which of course is never quick with me. But I'm not here to rock you. I'm not here to hurt your feelings. My days of doing that are done. So if you don't want to listen to me and you want it to be about me and you want to argue with me, you don't have to argue with me, sweetie. Yep. You don't have to.
Yep. You got to come find her.
To that. I don't see, and here's the deal. I can be a lot more objective because I don't aspire to that, and I don't shit on anybody who does, especially those of you who are young. If you want to have children, then yeah, you should be looking for the best deal. Remember that video I did years ago called "Let's Make a Deal"? Mm-hmm. This is the second video I put out on YouTube. And I talked about it's called the patriarchal bargain. Ladies, do a little research. Come out of this airy fairy princess land stuff that y'all are searching for all over the internet. Just do a little research about, what marriage is, what it isn't historically, where it came from. And I ain't talking about Jesus in the Bible and God saying let the marriage bed be not defiled. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, historically, what is marriage? Because you can't, the fruit of a thing don't change too far from the root of a thing. And if you don't understand that men have expectations, your coochie ain't that special, Ma. I hate to tell you. He may love your dirty drawers, but your coochie ain't that special. So he has expectations of you that go beyond your lipstick color. And a lot of y'all you don't want to hear what those expectations are. You don't want them to have expectations of you, but you got a lot of expectations from them.
Kendall, so 2 super chats people wanted to reach out with you. First, shout out to Kyle, the largest super chat of the night. $50 says, KSC is like 10 years ahead of the current conversation, and I'm fascinated. Can I buy a book, a video on Patreon? Kendall, you might want to consider Patreon, because it can be private and people have to pay you to get access. The other one was the question about, can we talk about the wisdom of Sansa and Daenerys from the Game of Thrones? She actually did an entire series on that. Yeah. And if you guys want to...
I mean, that's a perfect... Okay, yeah. So let's use that as an example for y'all princess loving chicks.
I'll be right back. You keep going. You the host now. I'm just going to drop the mic because you've already dropped the mic sometime.
If anybody ever feels that I'm going too hard, too deep, if I'm dominating the conversation, I'm over talking Crystal, and I'm being mean, I'm a devil worshiping, somebody who's trying to steer y'all away from Jesus, then let me know, and I will happily bow out. So be clear. I don't have to do this. I'm not here trying to force my beliefs on anybody or anything. My days of trying to persuade Black women to hear what I have to say are done. So if anybody's offended, if enough of you are offended, let me know, and we can end this. So I just wanted to be clear, because I ain't trying to pressure nobody into nothing. I'm not dragging a bitch behind me no more. But since someone asked, if you watch the Game of Thrones, the archetype of Sansa Stark is a very good archetype to study when it comes to the princess archetype, right? So for those of you, I'm giving spoilers. The show is 10 years old and it's already over. So if you haven't seen it, then I don't know what rock you've been under. So if you don't want to hear what happens in it, then now's the time to hit your mute button. So Sansa Stark was the daughter of the king of... Well, he wasn't the king of the North. He was the steward of the North. But in essence, Westeros had several different kingdoms, and the North kind of was separate. They were one of the older kingdoms, and they were kind of separate, even though technically they were under the umbrella of the main kingdom. But they kind of, because they were North, they were cut off from the rest of the kingdom. They kind of ran things their own way. So the Stark family was the powerful family whose generations had been kind of running things up north. Ned Stark was the steward of the North, and his best friend that he grew up with eventually became king. And so long story short, drama. The king, his best friend from childhood, came up to the North and said, there's some shit going down. I need my wingman. I need you to have my back. So I need you to come and be the hand of the king, the right hand of the king, my personal advisor. Ned Stark did not want to do it. He didn't want to be involved in the politics. He didn't want to leave his home. He wanted to stay, drama. But when your best friend, who is the king, kind of asks you to do something, it's not really, it's not really a question, right? It's pretty much a command. So they decided that the way to solidify this, right, was to take Ned Stark's daughter, who was Sansa Stark, who at the time was probably maybe 12, 13, and Robert Baratheon's son, the king's son, who we thought was his son, and we later on find out was not his son, but the king's son, who was probably around the same age, and betrothed them to each other. So this was it was a solidifying of an alliance officially between the king and the North, right? So Sansa, who was a silly little girl with stars dancing in her eyes, was raised by a very loving, caring mother who did nothing to prepare her for life as a woman. And so she didn't recognize that Joffrey Lannister Joffrey Baratheon, who was the prince, was a goddamn psychopath.
Psycho. Complete psycho.
And she was so excited about marrying the soon-to-be king, because that eventually would make her queen.
Wait, he had money, right? He was handsome, money, right?
He was, the grandson of the richest man in the kingdom, and he was going to be king one day, right? So there's a scene where Ned does not want this to go down. He don't want no parts of this, but he's in a kind of a fucked up position. And so at one point, Ned was like, "We can't, like, this can't happen." And he's talking to Sansa. Now, mind you, Sansa's a child, so she thinks as children do. And she says, "No, you can't call off the wedding."
I remember that.
No, I'm gonna marry Joffrey. And we're gonna move to King's Landing.
And we're gonna be in
and
love.
I'm gonna be his wife, the queen.
And have all these babies.
And I'm going to give him golden haired babies.
Yes.
Completely clueless that this man was a goddamn. He wasn't a man. He was a young teenager, 13, 14 years old. But he was a fucking psychopath.
Yes.
But she didn't know. Her mother had not prepared her at all for life as a woman. And long story short, she married Joffrey, but then he ended up killed before she was able to consummate the. By that time, he started to show his. They killed her father, and then so now she's now like under the domain of his family. And Cersei Lannister, who was a boss ass dark wisdom bitch, was oh my God, she was just a tyrant in female form. And they just made life very difficult for Sansa, who now was having her little girl veil removed as she began to learn the ways of the true world. And long story short, the man that she ends up, when Joffrey is killed, the man she ends up with is 100 times worse than Joffrey ever was. And what happened to that girl as her initiation into womanhood?
I remember that. It was horrifying.
The stuff that man was doing to her. And she had to be initiated into womanhood, the shadow side of life, and the reality about men and men with power, the heart. No one had prepared her. She thought she was going to marry the prince and give him golden hair babies, and didn't understand what it meant to be a fucking queen. And her womb was she was a pawn.
Yes.
That her father couldn't even tell the king no. She had no choice to marry. It was about bloodlines. It was about power and alliances. It had nothing to do with love. It was about money and power. So when y'all was sitting around talking about being a princess, you don't know a princess is a pawn. You don't know that because you watch Disney. And you're listening to YouTubers talk about being sirens. You don't really know what is what. You don't understand the archetypes.
Sirens are monsters, actually.
Yes, they are.
They're not princesses. They're monsters.
They tear men apart.
Man eaters.
In some of the mythos, they eat them.
Yeah.
So when I heard a femininity guru talking about being a siren and how sirens, are compliments to men, I just shook my head. And then you have women saying, "Yes, I want to be a siren. I want to be," and you don't even know.
I want to be a siren.
People just take stuff and they just change it. You can't change the fruit of a thing from the root of a thing, ladies. A siren archetype is a siren archetype. I don't care what spin someone puts on it. A princess is a princess. I don't care what you saw on Disney. So when I am coming to you to burst your little fantasies and you get in your feelings with me and then get mad and scoff off or try to flag me down or get mad at Crystalline and then go write scathing things about her on Lipstick Alley, that ain't going to change what a princess is. And so you're still going to have to live out what that archetype is in your ignorance and arrogance, whether you agreed with me when I said it 10 years earlier on a video or not. I'm going to tell you the same thing that I told these dudes years ago. In the end, the joke is going to be on you, whether you believe me or like me or not, whether you question my motives. Am I a fraud? Am I just a jaded, bitter baby mama who's mad that my son's father didn't want me? You can tell yourself all of that stuff if you want to. But in the end, the joke is on you. Just like the jokers when I told y'all what was coming down the pike, and here we are in the middle of a pandemic, and 90% of the stuff that I forecasted is coming came.
Yes,
now you getting it, and because you weren't ready to hear it then, and now you're hearing it now. Now you're all regurgitating all the shit that I said, and you're saying it like you came up with it. You didn't.
Right.
You were arguing with me, but I'm not going to argue back with you.
And some of y'all, I just want to say this right now. Some of y'all, some of you did apologize. Shout out to Chrissy. She did apologize several times.
She
Some
did.
of y'all
Chrissy
have
did
not
apologize. Chrissy had me on her channel, and we talked it out, right? And y'all know I'm not big on forgiveness. Apologize, and I will say this: Chrissy did a video the other day, and I listened to some of her stuff and other people's stuff, and she said at the end of the video, she said, "You need to get the best deal you can get as a Black woman." And she was talking about the Gabby thing. And she said, "You need to just get the best deal you can get." And maybe that's the best deal that Gabby could get.
Yes.
She's like, "I don't personally think that you should date down." I don't know if this guy's a date down or not. I don't really know enough about it. But she said, "I don't personally think Black women should date down. But you need to also be realistic about where you're at." And for her, maybe that was her man, right? That was her thing that she could get, realistically being the archetype she fits. And she says, ultimately, you should, as a Black woman, get the best deal. Now, the irony of that is that the second video that I on YouTube was called "Let's Make a Deal." Chrissy wasn't there yet. So she did response videos coming for what I was saying at that time, called "A Better Deal," where she was, in essence, dismantling my talking points. But, she's grown, she's learned,
Yes.
she done seen some shit, life done tagged that ass a little bit, and she done seen the truth about y'all, this community. And so when I heard her say, "You should get the best deal that you can get," I just chuckled, because I remember when I said that years ago, she wasn't ready to hear it, but she get it now.
Yeah.
She get it now, and she's even sent me a message saying through Chris, "I get you now."
She did.
And I said to Chris, tell her, "I'm glad you get it now."
Yep.
So the point is, ladies, because I know I go deep and I go long, and y'all get so in your feelings and you get so mad at me. I ain't trying to hurt your feelings. I'm really just trying to hip you to some history so that you can kind of just know what it is you want. I'm not telling you don't get married. I'm not telling you don't aspire to be beautiful. I'm not telling you don't cultivate, your feminine aspect. What I'm saying is, broaden your concept of what is feminine. Femininity is not just sugar and spice and everything nice. No. It's not just making babies and baking bread.
Nope.
And when you choose to only see femininity as Sansa Stark did, as a princess going to give this man immortality so that you can be the queen of his babies, you're setting yourself up just the way Sansa Stark. Now be clear. By the time it was done, after years and years of abuse, she, after watching Cersei Lannister and even studying her and taking some of her, watching that shadow woman, she finally became the matriarch. She wasn't married and didn't have any children, but she became the queen of the North. She actually became the ruler of the North. Her whole family was gone except for one brother and one sister. Everybody else was dead. Her mother, her older brother, everybody was gone. And through the harsh lessons, because no one had prepared her, and she had to go through rape and abuse and humiliation and fear and terror. By the time she was done, she wasn't a little girl no more.
No, she wasn't.
She was a force to be reckoned with. And she was so powerful that she became the queen, but not the way she thought. So y'all can cling to this princess narrative if you want to and think it's all going to be somebody bouncing alpha male, bouncing you on your knee, telling you how pretty you are all day, while he stays faithful to you and brings you millions of dollars so you can sit at home and make cookies and homeschool your children all day long. And keep thinking that. And and I don't know what else to tell you. You will see. I don't have to argue with you. You will learn. Listen, I have clients who have achieved all this stuff y'all are talking about. It ain't what y'all think. And that doesn't mean don't do it. Do it if that's your thing. Just keep your head in the game and don't drink the Kool-Aid. Men have standards. And if you want the top of the line man, He don't care if you had 3 of his babies and gave him immortality and risked your life 3 times to give him a junior and 2 princesses that are going to carry on his bloodline. He expects you to stay that size too, just like that white woman did. And he don't want to hear about how the black woman's BMI, the BMI, the BMI chart is not inclusive of all racial. He don't give a shit. If he married you as a size 4, he expects you to stay a size 4. Now, he should be willing to pay for the personal trainer and the mommy makeover. But your ass better be in that gym. And no, you cannot have a double cheeseburger because that's the price you pay. Listen, everybody has options. And he has them. And if you want to hold your position, you got to be willing to do what it takes. And y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all want to hear princess girl fantasies. And so I will let you continue to be on YouTube by 23-year-olds who don't know what they're talking about. But I'm telling you, the real deal is about something else. So, bringing it all the way back to what I see in 2020, because that's how we do it. Bring it all the way back. What I see is the wheat being separated from. Some of y'all get this, and y'all are in there doing the personal work. You're in therapy. You're journaling. You may even be getting some spirit work done. I know y'all so afraid of spiritual stuff, but some of y'all need some spirit work done. Some of these bloodline curses and weird stuff y'all got going on, stuff that you inherited from the poor choices and bad contracts and the breaking of covenants from ancestors who left you holding a bag, and now you can't seem to get your shit together, and you always got bad luck, and your womb is a mess, and you're a mess. You don't know what it is. You may need some spirit work done, whatever that spirit work looks like to you. You may need to change your diet and get healthy, because you can be, all that lipstick and stuff I'm not trying to be, listen, I'm a woman who has struggled with my weight as an older woman, so I understand, right? I get it. When I was younger, in my 20s and even my 30s, I was, rail thin, and then I was womanly thin. I told you I was scouted as a model at 35, but then when I had back problems and I had a lot of issues and I got depressed and it was a mess, I put on weight. I couldn't move. I had to have back surgery, and so, my weight went up. And so I understand the struggle of weight. But ladies, you can't go in and demand that somebody change their standards for you because you can or won't live up to that standard. Just like you don't want them to do it. The goalposts, you can't keep moving the goalposts and try to tell them what they should accept as a top of the line woman, just like you don't want them telling you what you decide is a top of the line man. Everybody has standards, and the more well-positioned, high-value woman, high-value man, the higher the standards, because the greater the options on both sides.
Yes.
This princess stuff that y'all are trying to pull is silly little girl nonsense. It is not going to secure no positions for you. Even if you get the bag, you're going to lose it. I told y'all a couple of months ago, I told y'all last year that your bag is a knockoff. It's a Canal Street knockoff. And by the time you realize that it was made in China and not true Louis, it's not true, what is the one, Birkin bag? And by the time you realize that shit is a reasonable facsimile, you'll be getting divorced. He'll have hidden the assets. You'll be getting divorced, struggling, end up a single mother anyway, because you didn't want to get your head in the game. So y'all keep worrying about Crystalline's lighting while she's hipping you to the game that can change your life, and all you're worrying about is her lighting. It's just, I get it. And Chris, I'm glad you're leveling. You look great, but to me, when I look at that, I said, y'all you want it to be about the image, and you don't want it to be about the substance. And until it becomes about the substance for you, gain can be lost. So what I see in 2020 is some of y'all are about that life, and you're going to win. You're going to do okay. And some of you are going to find out the hard way that the icing and it's not enough to sustain you. And a lot of what us older women, y'all want to hear this stuff from younger women, and I understand you can. So when Megan Thee Stallion tells you protect Black women, now you have ears to hear it. When Crystalline and I and the rest of us, Simone and the BWE chicks, when we were saying protect Black women, y'all couldn't hear us. Is it because we're older and you don't want to listen to older women because older women have violated y'all trust so much? I don't know exactly what it is. We've interesting conversations about it. Chris and I have talked about it. I've talked about it in my private ventures, and so many younger ladies say, yeah, we don't trust y'all because y'all have been trashed to us. And I get it. But some of us have really gone out of our way to be that for you, and you don't want to hear it from us. You want to hear our talking points coming out of the mouths of women who don't have the wisdom and the experience to back them up.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of flaws in there They still working stuff out. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They got
Mm-hmm.
they get the talking points, but they don't understand the substance behind it because they haven't lived it. They don't know what it's like to be on the other side. So they're working out a lot of this stuff at y'all's expense. And then when they have their wake up moments, it's like, actually, oops, I have to take everything I said back now because they didn't, they're not old enough. And so keep listening to that because it makes you feel good or whatever. But the real deal is the women who have lived long enough to have been on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris is one of those people. I'm one of those people. Some of the other ladies, they've just decided that they're not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
Because
A lot of people just gave it
it
up. Yeah. It's just too much
They
nonsense.
gave it up.
Yeah.
So anyway, I asked Chris while you were gone. I asked them, did they want me, because I know that they get so angry and then they take their anger out on you. So I asked them, did they want me to pull it back
Mhm.
while you were off, you had to take care of something for a minute. I asked them. So if anybody, and I didn't see enough of go aways to make me say, okay, I'm going
I
to go
didn't
away.
see any.
So don't come back later on trying to blame Crystalline. Why you bring her on here? Y'all did the same thing when I was on Chrissy's post. Y'all was all in your feelings in the comments, and you didn't like it. And then the moment she took the video down, y'all were begging her to put the video back up. So I
There's
speak
just
for
no winning.
myself, and Crystalline speaks for herself. Chrissy speaks for herself. Everybody grown here. So Crystalline is not responsible for what comes out of my mouth if it's coming out of my mouth. So be clear. I asked y'all if y'all wanted me to pull back, rein it in, and not enough people said yes. So then if you were here, it's because you wanted to be here. Don't pretend like somebody made you stay.
Mm-hmm.
You like what I'm saying even if you don't like how I'm saying it. I know it, Chris knows it, you know it. So let's not play the game. That's why so many of y'all show up when I show up.
Yeah. I mean, literally.
So come and get this bitter pill
Mm-hmm.
and take your medicine and get better.
Right.
In answer to the brother who sent the $50, I do not have a book. I do not have an active website. I no longer have a YouTube channel. I do not host anything for men. Maybe I will one day. Maybe I
You
will host
should.
something
You should. I think that
for
would
the
be good.
brothers. But I don't. I currently I have gone on hiatus, so I'm not really doing anything. I'm taking care of myself. I'm living my life. I've gone vegan. I'm losing weight. I'm working out. As soon as the COVID lifts, I'm traveling. There's a home purchase in the works. This stuff going on with me, school, romance. I'm living my life because at some point you realize that you can't save nobody else. You can only save yourself. And I did what I could, and it was time to move on, and I did. But I do appreciate you, you supporting. Contrary to what people think, I don't hate black men.
Mm-hmm. Neither of us do.
No, I
Y'all
don't
need
hate
to
black
stop
men.
with
But black
that.
men, I hate that black men are okay with being so like, because I'm pretty learned and kind of well read on history. I know who black men used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I know they are the sons of, like, black men, the Ma sons, the May sons, the son of the mother. You derive your godhood from us, and I know who we are. So
Mm-hmm.
in your natural state, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
there's no man like you. But what has happened? I don't, and because I don't want to tell you it's okay for you to be this lowered version of yourself, just like it's not okay for us to be the lowered version of myself. And because I called you to task, now I must hate you. But that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it sounds, when I say that, that sounds like what the dudes say, right? We just want you to be better. But I'm not just speaking out of emotion. I'm saying, listen, if you want black women to choose better, then that you have to get comfortable for what that may look like.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not in a position to be able to be the kind of man that's choosable, you have to accept not getting chosen. Y'all don't want to hear that part.
Nope.
Now all of a sudden you're changing the definition of what better is to include you because you don't want to be left out.
Yep.
But if you truly about the community, some of y'all gonna have to take one for the team or work really hard to get caught up.
80% probably gonna have to take one for the team.
A lot, and be clear. Now let me be clear. I would say 50 to 65% of black women are unchoosable too.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all like that?
Yeah.
So my issue has never been that I hate black men. Quite to the contrary. I don't come from, and not that this matters, but I don't come from a single parent household. My parents were married for 40 years. I come from generations, going all the way back to slavery on both sides of my family, both Caribbean and Southern. I come from married black couples, not perfect, but married, home ownership, business ownership. I don't come from whatever narrative that people keep wanting to put on me because I ended up becoming a single mother. I don't come from that legacy. What I did was stupid, but that's not what I come from. And so I have actually seen men in manhood in black men. Not perfect. There was a lot of trash going on even then. But I've seen it. And so you're never going to get me to say that what's going on now is okay. And let me say this too. I accept responsibility for the role I played. Because I was one of those girls that went out there and had a baby by somebody who I shouldn't have been having a baby by in ignorance and arrogance. That was not a good look. I'm not one of those defensive single black mothers who's going to defend everything. I did that. Nope. That was a bum bitch move on my part, and I own it.
Yeah.
I own it.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to get black women to own it, not so you can beat yourself up, self-flagellate, prostrate yourself and beat your back bloody with a cat of nine tails. Not that. So that you would recognize how much power you have, that you're leaving money on the table. You have power you're wasting. And I wasted mine, and I'm trying to tell you, don't. My child is the only child I'm ever going to have. My one motherhood experience was that of a single inner city black. That's not what I wanted for myself. If I was being really honest with myself, that's not what I wanted for myself. That's not what I wanted for the only child I will ever have in this life. And I'm woman enough to admit that it was not a good look. And any black woman that I talk to, I'm going to tell them, it's not a good look. Don't do that. That's dumb shit. That's bum bitch shit. Don't be a bum bitch. Rise to the occasion. But you also, as a man, got to rise to the occasion too.
Right.
So as far as I'm concerned, 2020, bring it all back again. 2020 is the year of perfect vision for those who have the eyes to see. Everyone else, to the back of the train you go, like in Snowpiercer. Everyone else, you're going to be part of the permanent underclass of this global society. That's what you're going to end up being, because you won't accept responsibility. It's not easy. It hasn't been easy for me to admit the dumb shit, and especially on a public platform, to admit the dumb shit I did when I was younger. The erroneousness of my thinking, my belief system, it hasn't been easy, and people have made me pay for it. They run and take what I say and turn it into something else. I admitted that I've suffered from mental illness, and I was like, she crazy. We can't listen to her. Half of y'all niggas is crazy. Excuse me for saying that. But most of y'all people is crazy. Stop playing. Y'all are messed up. You're depressed. You got bipolarism, schizophrenia, personality disorders. I was just, honest enough with myself to go get help. Black people are full of narcissism, sociopathy. Stop playing.
Yes.
Stop playing. Y'all are hot messes. But because I'm willing to be honest, you tried to weaponize it against me. But you can't. Because what we need in this community is honesty. And because I see y'all still want lies, and I'm done with the community.
Right.
I'm not going to live my whole life in this nonsense. I got only, there's only one life. And that's what I'm saying to black women. And I will say this again. For those of you who still hold out hope, you still got to do the same shit. You're going to have to pull away. If you keep giving them immortality for free, and they hate you for it.
Yes, they do.
They hate you for it because they didn't have to do anything to earn it. And so that leaves them fucked up when they leave the community and they have to go into the world of men and they see how lacking they are. They turn back and they look at you and they say, you let me be like this. You told me it was okay to be like this.
It's like a child. It's like a child. When you let a child have their way and they go out into the world and they think that everybody in the world should be the way their parents behaved when they behave this way. And then they realize that doesn't fly. They get mad at you. Why didn't you tell me that I can't operate outside of this house this way? How come you didn't tell me that I can't speak to people this way, that I couldn't behave this way, that I couldn't just have whatever I wanted? Why didn't you tell me?
Right. And someone would say, and what did the black mother say? Well, I did the best I could. Honey, your best wasn't good enough. I've had to explain this to so many black. You cannot wing motherhood.
No.
Motherhood is not, the mother position is not something you can jimmy rig together. Like, you can't successfully wing it.
Right.
Like you can wing a job interview.
Mm-hmm.
You can't wing motherhood, and y'all are trying to wing. I had literally had a client told me when I asked her, when she told me that she was leaving her baby in the high chair for 8 hours a day.
Oh my God.
See, I hear all kinds of stuff. See, I can't. I can't. I'm not afforded the luxury of just talking princess talk every day, because of who I am and what I do. I deal with the shadow side of this stuff, and the stuff that I hear is a whole other thing. And I had a girl tell me that she was leaving her baby in the high chair for 8 hours a day, and she loved this baby, but she didn't know what, she couldn't take care of him. She was going to school, and she just didn't have it in her. And I said, why she thought about putting the baby up for adoption when she got pregnant, and she got pregnant as a result of rape, y'all. So this wasn't even. And long story short, she was going to put the baby up for adoption. Her family talked her out of it, and so she kept him. And then she wasn't able to take care of him, so they took the baby. The state came and took the baby from her. But feeling guilty, she fought to get the baby back, but she wasn't able to take care of him. So she had the child sitting in the car seat. I mean, in a high chair for 8 hours a day. So he was delayed in speech. He was cognitively delayed. It was a mess. And I said to her, she says, I love him. She said, I love him. She said, but I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do it. And she said, I don't have the patience, and I'm trying to go to school. She was young. She said, I don't know what I'm doing. I said, so why didn't when they took him, why didn't you just let them? Because I didn't want him in foster care. I said, but so what were you thinking? She could wing it. And I said, Mom, you can't wing motherhood. Mm-mm. Anyway, she ended up putting. I didn't tell her to do this, even though we did talk about it. But eventually, she ended up putting the baby up for adoption, and he was adopted by a great couple, older couple, black American woman who was a PhD psychologist, and the father was an African businessman, and they already had a child, and she had an open adoption so that she could be a part of the baby's life. And the mother quit her practice so she could work on with this baby and get him caught up, and she was a part of the child's life, and then she could focus on school, and it ended up being a good. But I hear the shadow sides of all of these blessing stories and these fairy tales that y'all keep selling in the community, and it's bullshit. You can't wing motherhood or fatherhood. It's an all-in job, and Black people keep trying to wing it and saying it's just good that the byproducts of those that winging it is going to be able to compete with people who are completely invested in their children, and you send your ill-prepared child out into the world and say, now compete with Becky.
Right.
And it's just not going to happen. It's cruel. It's cruel to do that. And they call it Black love and black. It's cruel to do that to your. Let me tell you something. What I did was cruel to my kid. Not because I was abusive. I was very, very, very hands-on with him. But the circumstance I put him in was cruel. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now as a young man, he has to reckon with it. And I can't fix it for him. The only thing I do is, I try to be supportive from afar. I pay for therapy, and the rest he has to work out. I did everything I could do. But I have said to my son, I'm sorry. I was ignorant. I was arrogant. I was desperate. I was young. I didn't know. I was stupid. I was all these different things. And I apologize. Now, what can I do to help? Yeah. Y'all are on some, well, your daddy, and knock it off. Right. Knock it off. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, you are responsible for what you birth. And if you birth something into this planet that you can't take care of, and you birth something into this planet that the co-creator with you is not willing to take care of, and you knew that pretty much even before it happened, then that's on you. Mm-hmm. So are y'all ready for that level of womanhood, or is it just about femininity? Mm-hmm. Are you ready to be the gods, right? Are you ready to be the god of your community in the sense of your womb is what you do with it? You can either create or destroy. Are you willing to accept that level of responsibility for what you create? That says that nothing comes through me that I didn't plan for and prepare for. Mm-hmm. Are you going to say, well, God said that every child is a blessing that you plan to wing it through? Mm-hmm. Are you a blessing to your baby? Forget it, is the blessed baby a blessing? So selfish. Mm-hmm. What I did was selfish. Mm-hmm. And I can admit it was selfish. And I don't feel it like, I feel regretful, but I can speak honestly to you guys here because I wrestled with it. It was a selfish act. Does that mean I don't love my kid? I love my kid, but it was selfish what I did. And so, me coming and telling you don't do that, it's not genocide. It's me saying love your babies enough. Don't be selfish like that. But y'all didn't want to hear it. Maybe y'all are ready to hear it now from a 22-year-old, but you only want to hear it from a grown-ass woman who lived it. So I do style, and now I'm over here chilling. Every now and then I pop back up, but seems
And
like
I'm glad you do.
now, Susie.
Well, you know what?
I
People
guess
people have
kick
been
that
wanting
in.
us to do a podcast forever. I think 2021 we should actually try to do it. Maybe.
But when me and you come together like this, Crystalline, it brings warfare. Do you know how much drama's getting ready to come at us just because we're doing this video?
But you know what, Kendall? I'm just getting to the point. I've grown too, and I don't care. Remember how I used to care?
I mean, if you know,
you know how far I've come. You know how much I used to care. I don't care.
I know.
I don't care.
But they're so vicious. And they come at you in ways that they can't come at me because I'm not as vulnerable in that way. They'll come at your family, they'll come at your kids.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that they have done has just been like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like real talk, like I don't understand. How could you sit and warn us against the evils of white people? The white man is gonna serial kill you and chop you up and put you in pickle jars. Don't ever trust a white woman because she's the most treacherous bitch on the planet. Do y'all see yourselves?
Right.
I mean, the things we see, the stuff that y'all will do because you don't like what we're saying in a video. And threats, emails to people's family members. Like, what is that? Listen, there's been a lot of stuff said that I completely disagree with, viscerally, angrily, okay, on social media. I have never threatened someone because of it. I have never felt the need to go and find somebody's personal information and try to fuck up their job. I have never, and I could, and I don't, because that's crazy talk. Y'all are vicious. You're vicious. White people don't have nothing on you. And you know what makes you more vicious than white people? Because you have nothing to lose. I have a module in my Magic of Self called The Dangers of People Who Have No Honor and the Dangers of People Who Have Nothing to Lose. Black people are the biggest threat because they have nothing to lose. Y'all don't have no legacy that's at risk if you act a fucking fool. Y'all don't have you don't have no businesses. You don't have nothing that that you care enough about that you're gonna regulate your shit in the public square. You don't have anything. That's why you can get up and say the most horrific. You can make threats against people. You can dox them. You can do all this stuff because you ain't got nothing to lose. Everybody ain't you. Yeah. Some of us have stuff. Some of us care about our kids. We care about our lives. We have personal interests. We may have businesses or careers outside of our presence on social media. And so, so when I see how people respond anytime you and I get together and they're attacking you and trying to just undo you, it's like, it's not worth it. Y'all make it not worth it for us to come together. You want to destroy people. Yeah, and here's the thing. I don't understand that. I don't understand where does all of that go when these white people are kicking y'all's asses. Where does all of this determination to undo a mofo go? Yeah. Why is George Zimmerman still walking around? Right. We get death threats, but George Zimmerman is right now probably selling a piece of art depicting him killing Trayvon Martin. Girl. Like y'all, you reserve all of your get back at us because you're scared of white people. Yeah. Truly scared of white people. Kendall, I want to say something too. This is right in line with what we're talking about right now. Speaking of destroy, and I want to just say this right now. I may get emotional about this because I'm talking about my kid. Y'all have been so vicious to one of my children. You know who I'm talking about. Who has never done anything to you, has never said a word bad. You have single-handedly tried to ruin her life before it even started. And you know who you are, and you ought to be absolutely ashamed of yourself. But I'm going to tell you something else. Y'all try to say Kendall and I are bad mothers and we don't love our mothers. What you're seeing right now is a website
I'm going to announce it right now. GetPinkPill.com. This website is created by my daughter, who many of you trashed and dragged her name and tried to destroy her because you hated me. I want you to see what she's done. What she's done.
At the Pink Pill, we don't just survive, we thrive. We don't buy into the limits others put upon us. We don't apologize for how we show up, because when we show up, we are the distinction. Around here, we live well to the extreme. We learn how to wield the power of our femininity, charm, style, and manner to maximize our possibilities socially, romantically, and professionally. We embrace our unique beauty, smashing stereotypes. With newfound confidence, we present the best version of ourselves that the world has been waiting for. I'm Crystalline Karazin, and I want to invite you to an exclusive circle of women who know pink is more than just a color. It's a way of life.
Oh, and that's not it. On her first try, this is what she built in a month. The girl that you tried to destroy because you wanted to destroy me. But you can't destroy her. Do you know why you can't destroy her? Because she came from me. Just like you can't destroy me, you can't destroy her.
I think, and Chris, you and I talked about this in private some time ago, and I said this to you. I think, part of what's going on with that is this. I think that many of us, we don't have great relationships with our mothers, and we were not, our mothers and our households as children were not soft places for us to fall, and I think that maybe some of the focus on her is because they, most Black women don't grow up in a world where they can make, I don't even say make some mistake. They can just go through the growing pains of being young and dumb and it not completely destroy their lives. Most of us don't have no soft place to fall. We go out there and we're testing the waters and we're figuring ourselves out. We usually end up a baby mama, struggling, trying to make it through school, with a mother saying, didn't I tell you? So I think part of what is going on with that is that I think there is some jealousy. They don't want to hear that they're jealous. Nobody ever thinks they're jealous. I did an event on envy. Envy is probably the two top emotions, the most visceral emotions in human beings are envy and jealousy. And the reason why is because both of them are the emotions that people admit to the least. And this is scientific. We went all into it. So all of these people who are feeling some kind of way don't even know that that's why they're feeling it. They really don't know that they're jealous. But I think some of what's happening is how many of them were able to, stumble and get themselves into some shit and come out okay because they had the kind of support system that your household provides. How many of us as Black women, I had that. I mean, when I got pregnant, I came home to my parents and they took care of me. But how many of us are in a position where we can make some mistakes, learn things the hard way, act a little crazy, go a little wild, figure ourselves out, and it doesn't completely destroy and rob us of our entire future. And I think some people, this is just my opinion, are triggered by the fact that you, a regular old Black woman who had a regular old Black baby girl with a regular old Black man in a regular old out of wedlock scenario, was somehow able to course correct in such a way that you can provide that to your daughter. And I think that some of what I see going on seems to be about that there is a triggering going. And because I know about this mommy wound, because that is at the foundation of the work I do. I've hosted 7 or 8 events on the mother wound. And anybody who follows me will tell you that that is probably the central, thing in my work is the mother wound. Y'all are damaged by your mothers just as much as Black men are damaged by Black women as mothers. And your mothers are not they're not giving you what you need, and they're competitive with you. They're nasty. Paris Milan did a video a couple of weeks ago where she just played a clip of an interview she did with this woman, where the woman called in to explain why Black mothers coddle their sons but raise their daughters. If you have not heard that, go check it out. It is everything it's everything I see. And this woman had such she was just so hostile and aggressive and competitive with her own child, with her own child, with her own reflection. So that's what y'all are coming from, most of you. So when you see a Black girl who can be carefree enough to act a little wild, get a little crazy, maybe not make the best choices and still come out okay, I think some of y'all get triggered. That's what I think. But you want to make it be Crystal is not a perfect parent. Who's perfect?
Right.
Did we ever tell y'all we were perfect?
And her daughter must obviously hate her.
I mean, what young woman at some point does not rebel against their mother? You know what I'm saying? You didn't rebel against your mama? You didn't rebel against your parents? Half of y'all was preachers' daughters, and what was y'all doing that first semester of college?
Right.
Come on, stop. Like y'all are so disingenuous. Like we're not a part of the community that you're a part of. We know exactly what goes on in this community.
Yep.
So you're trying to play us to be these horrible mothers who just left our kids, and we just terrible mothers. And it's like, not for nothing, but I don't want to say nothing that's going to trigger warfare, because I just not in the mood. But I have been there for not perfect. And I have dropped the balls in certain ways that are tangible. And I've talked about them, but ways that I showed up for my kid, some of y'all wish. And I did it as a single Black mother working with financial restraints. My kid had a passport before most of y'all had a driver's license. My kid had traveled outside the country before he was old enough to drive a car. And I ain't talking about going to the Caribbean. My son has taken flight lessons at $200 a pop when he was 14, 15 years old in New York City. So perfect, no. But who is? Are y'all perfect? Right. If I would have talked to some of y'all's kids, what would they tell me about you?
Right.
Where did you drop the ball? Where did you make a mistake? And have you successfully course corrected? Or are you telling them that you did the best you could? I don't ever say that to my kids.
Nope. I don't either.
Are you willing to accept responsibility for the ways in which you failed them as a mother?
Yep.
As a parent? No, most of you not. While you sit and talk to us about, listen, man, you're not playing that Jedi mind trick on me, and I don't think it's working on Chris anymore either.
No.
I know what kind of mothers y'all are. I talk to your daughters every day.
Girl.
I know what kind of mothers y'all are. Are you crazy? So you're not fooling nobody. Coming for us as if we're just, we're Joan Crawford and Mommy Dearest. Knock it off. Find something else.
Yeah.
It's just so silly. Don't y'all get tired?
No, they don't. You would think it just there's some people who follow our every single move. Well, not you, because they can't find you, but they can find me. And every single move, every single photo, every single video, every single blog post, every single thing that I do. Yes, they do.
That's stalker stuff. That's creepy and weird. I don't understand that. I truly, and I'm pretty adept at basic psychology, and that doesn't make any sense to me. For people to hang on to everything, they wait for your next video so they can talk about every single one. Every single picture you have every single one.
Every single one. Every single
weird. One. I don't know. It's creepy. That's part of the reason why I had to leave, because some of the stuff that I have seen, even with me, it's creepy behavior.
For somebody that you say you hate, it's so weird. You say you hate me so much, but you wake up in the morning the first thing you do is look on my feed on Twitter, look on my feed on IG, look at what I'm doing on YouTube, look at my community tab, look at all of these things, check the groups that hate, the hate groups that hate me. Like, this is your life. You wake up and this is your life. And I just feel sad for you. I don't know
how it's kind of like you kind of cancel your own position of superiority with that behavior.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Like
really hard to say that I'm the
kind
one with the problem. I'm the one that's crazy. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I can't even get into it because then they'll be coming for me, and I'm not in the mood. But it's just weirdo stuff. I don't know. It's weird. It's creepy. Like there ain't nobody that important in my life where I have to stalk them like that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's pretty bad.
I don't know that it's weird. I understand maybe not liking someone, even being a little disgruntled with their message, but some of what goes on is just weirdo stuff. Don't y'all have other things to do? And I'm not even saying that on some, I'm saying literally, don't you have dinner to make? Or,
right.
Like life requires too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have time to sit and stalk somebody. And let me just say this. Please, please. I don't know what's wrong with some of y'all who still feel like even now you have to mention me in your videos or, say certain things that involve me in certain things. I don't know why you feel the need to do that. You're not on my radar.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're
saying. And the only reason why I know about some of this stuff is because people email me or whatever. But I'm not, listen, sis, I'm not thinking about you.
Right.
I'm really not.
Yeah.
Not at all. Yeah. Like, because I'm grown and because whatever is going on there with you and your life and your household has nothing to do with me because I'm grown and I got my own house and I got my own bills to pay and I got my own investments to manage. I got my own traveling to plan. I got my own business to upgrade. I got my own shit. So I'm not doing any of the things that some people are suggesting I'm doing, that I'm coming undercover in people's comment sections.
Right. Oh, yeah. Didn't you know that? We're part of this gang. You and I lead this conspiracy.
No. Listen, I'm not getting paid for that. Y'all don't understand. I don't get paid. I don't get paid to send your video. What's that got to fucking do with money? What is whatever you say? It don't have nothing to do with money.
Right. Right.
I like money. I get paid for my wisdom. Well into six figures. I get paid well. People value what I say enough that they're willing to put money on it. They're willing to put their money where their mouth is. I don't need to sit up under a pseudonym in your comment section for some video that you got 800 people watch.
No, I mean 11 people, 12 people watch.
Listen,
now. And this is what we're doing. We're so insecure that this is what we do in our free time.
And I'm not trying to be funny, but when I was on YouTube, I could get 25, 30,000 views to a video that I left up for 3 days. Mm-hmm. What makes you think that I would hover in the comment section of a video you made where you got 1,500 views?
Right.
And it shouldn't even monetize. Like, I don't, what's that? There's no money in that for me.
Right. Right.
Like, you're not, and this is not to be funny, but you're not profitable to me.
It's not that important.
That much about you.
Exactly.
And if you thought the same way I did, then you wouldn't have no time worrying about me or Chris or anybody else because you would be getting your grind on, your hustle on, in whatever way you can. Maybe not on YouTube, but in your personal life, whatever. You would be taking that coding class or, starting a new business or whatever. You wouldn't have time to be sitting on YouTube either. But it's not for me to explain that to you unless you want to pay me. Then I'd be willing to coach you, maybe. Mm-hmm. But I'm not. So anybody who's mentioning me in videos about how I'm on the phone with them and I'm in the comment section, I'm not doing any of that.
Did you know that you were on the phone with somebody crying about Black women? Did you know about that?
I don't know what that is. Wow. I don't know what that stuff is. That doesn't pay me.
Right.
None of that pays me. Like what I'm doing right now, because me and CK are cool and we're colleagues, is cool. Right? Mm-hmm. Because I agreed to do this. But I ain't doing this shit for free for everybody sitting off 6 out. You crazy? That don't pay. If y'all stop giving up your shit for free, your lives will change. Let me tell you something. I was on Facebook for years for free. Building up other people's platforms, coming to their comment section, getting in their blog talk shows. I was on other blogs. I had a woman take something I said in the blog and put it at the title of her book, a Black woman. I've had lots of people poach and steal my stuff, and so I'm over that now. So if me engaging you don't put money in my pockets, then you don't matter enough for me to even think about you.
Right.
And I'm not saying that. Listen, be clear, because people will get triggered. I'm not saying that to be hostile towards you. I'm saying is I don't have time for things that don't somehow pay me or invest in me or pour into me. And you should be the same way. You shouldn't keep my name in your mouth.
Right.
You should not have my name in your mouth because I'm not paying you.
Right.
Do y'all know? Listen, let me tell y'all something, and then we can close out because I got stuff to do.
Yeah, I do too.
In 2018, when y'all flagged down my YouTube channel, y'all was feeling so good. Some of y'all was feeling so good. Me and Chris were just laughing about this. And I don't usually do this, but I'm just going to tell you. 2018, December of 2018, after I had been gone the whole year, I came back to do my end of the year report, like me and Chris are doing right now, right? But I did it on my YouTube channel. I put out three or four videos, right? And y'all flagged down my YouTube channel, and my whole channel was taken down. And it's all right, right? Mm-hmm. It was like 300 videos gone. And some of y'all were dancing around the fire. The month of January, after y'all flagged down my channel, all those videos that y'all thought I don't know what y'all thought. I had all my videos. The month of January alone, I made $50K off of those videos that y'all thought had gone into the ether because you flagged down my free ass YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. You put money in my pocket.
Yes.
You put money in my pocket. Mm-hmm. You created a vacuum that I filled.
Yes.
So now what people were getting for free, now they had to pay me for it. And they did. Because what I said has value, and they still pay me for it. I still make money off of those videos. Mm-hmm. So while certain people are regurgitating my talking points for free on YouTube, I get paid for the original idea. Still.
Yep.
Still.
Yep.
So all of the stuff that y'all are doing to try to undo and try to get, it's silly, and it has nothing to do with money or business. It has, you are not going to thrive in the coming system with this stuff y'all are doing. Mm-hmm. You're not going to thrive. You're not going to thrive with this emotional.
Yeah, too much time trying to, destroy people, pick people. You focus on the wrong things. You think the wrong things are important. And I can see that by the titles of your YouTube videos. I can see how you guys pick each other apart. One month you're friends. The next month you guys are battling each other. The next month you done dox somebody's whole family, mama, daddy, cat, dog, hamster.
And you did all of that out of your own pocket.
Yes. You ain't made a single dime on.
I wish a bitch would come out of my pocket to find out about your life. Are you crazy? What part of money is that, honey? Listen. Real talk. Y'all are not getting paid for this. Mm-hmm. Some of y'all in your 30s, 40s, and even 50s, and you're not getting paid to sit on YouTube and 8, 9, 10-hour panels yelling and screaming back and forth at each other. It's not good business. It's not good economics. Y'all say y'all about the Black community. Where's some emoja, some Kuji Jakulia, cooperative economics up in this bitch? Y'all doing shit for free, keeping people who don't even know you exist names in your mouth. Mm-hmm. And you're not getting, how is it? It just doesn't make any sense to me, and I just don't see how that's going to help you or your family or your kids or your community or the Black community or Black love. I just don't see where it is, how it's helpful. But you know what? If you like it, I love it.
Right.
But please, just leave me out of it. I'm gone now. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to try to feed, because that's what y'all want to do. You want to feed off of us. So the moment we come together and do something, y'all make response videos because you're trying to feed off of us. It's called energetic vampirism, spiritual vampirism. That's what you're trying to do. And people feed off of other people when they can't feed themselves. I can feed myself. People are willing to pay me thousands of dollars. Me, the bastard baby making, Bed-Stuy baby mama, bum bitch from Brooklyn. People will spend thousands of dollars with me because what I say has value to them. I never had a monetized YouTube channel. I never had an open website.
Yeah.
I'm successful at what I do, and I don't show myself. I don't do any marketing or branding. I don't have an active YouTube channel. I don't have an active Facebook page. And I can still bring in $50K a month.
Right.
So while y'all are over there, or whoever, in your fields not listening to me because you think somehow you're not hurting my feelings. Because not for nothing, Brooklyn Blue's about to come out for a second. The bitches who want to hear what the fuck I have to say, they come find me, and they get it.
Yes,
And
and where can they find you? Where can they find you? I'm about to put. Oh, come on.
You can get on my email list.
Okay, what's the email list? What is it?
List.com. BlueGoddessGroupList.com.
You guys now you can stop asking me what her, what how to get in touch with her. I'm just putting here right now. BlueGoddessGroup.com. I'm gonna put it in here again so y'all will.
And so
please stop bothering me.
Yeah, stop bothering Chris. If you get on my email list and I can see, so here's the deal. Google Analytics, MailChimp Analytics lets you see all the activity that goes on your email list. So if I send you emails about, I haven't sent out anything lately because I've been on hiatus. So I haven't sent out anything for the past since August because I told you I'm on a hiatus. So I haven't sent out anything. But when I am active, if you're on my email list for 6 months, and I go through my email list and I see that either you've never clicked on an email that I sent, or you clicked on it, opened it, listened to the free video, but never bought anything or participated, I'm taking you off my email list. Because you're not a placeholder. Because your being there is costing me money, not paying me money, honey. I got to pay for the email list. Every person that's on my email list, I got to pay for. And you don't get to hold the spot, so you can get some free shit whenever you feel like it.
Right.
So after 3 to 6 months, I take you off. No hard feelings. Some girl wrote us, was pissed off that I said I take people off the email list. You don't have to. It's my email list. I don't have the right to take you off my email list.
Right.
Y'all are
Right.
entitled.
Yeah.
I see why black men don't want to deal with y'all nonsense. Y'all are entitled and crazy in some ways.
Yeah.
So if you want to listen, for those of you who are new, if you haven't figured it out, I'm not a sweet talking, sweet juice, syrupy type of bitch. That's not who I am. That's not what I came to do. That's not what I do. I can be that way in my private life. I can be that way romantically, but I'm not that in this work because that's not what you need and that's not what I'm called to do. I leave the tender, pinker stuff to women like Chris, that it comes natural to her, right? She's the pink pill. I'm the blue pill.
That's right. And
My
together
pill
we
is-
are the purple pill.
And together we're the purple pill. Those of you who are just hearing me for the first time, you hear how I talk, right? This is a nice version of me. The ladies will tell you that this is a very calm version of me. I haven't used a lot of curse words. I haven't called y'all too many epithets. I haven't dragged you for too much, Phil. Because to be honest with you, I just don't have the energy. I don't care. But you see how I am? You see how I'm able to come on this live and me and Chris together can hold the attention of 1,500 people for hours and hours and hours? That's because I'm good at what I do and I don't play things. So if you get on my email list, don't expect anything other than that. So if you get on and then you get an email from me and I send a video and you listen to the video and your little fingers get hurt, feelings get hurt because I talk to you in a mean way, and then you go flying off of my email, knock it off. This is who I am. You're not going to get anything different by getting on my email list or coming and getting my event. I am who the fuck I am. If you don't like it, if you don't like me here, you won't like me there. Right. So just do us all a favor and just stay away from me. And it's okay. I don't take it personally. We ain't got to have hard feelings, but it's a waste of my time because then I have an assistant. So now I got to pay my assistant to go through and take you off my email list. It's a waste of my time. MailChimp don't know how to bill me because I'm constantly taking people on and off, and we all get on and off. It's just silly little girl nonsense. I'm a grown woman, and this is about business. This is about the business of life. This is about the business of Black womanhood. This is about the business of sparing yourself a place as part of the permanent underclass of this global society. If y'all think this pandemic and Trump's presidency was bad, just wait. We just beginning, honey.
Yeah.
So If you don't like my tone, if I'm too harsh, it's okay. Like everything ain't for everybody. You can just
Keep it moving.
keep it moving. But don't be yelling at Crystalline talking about I'm destroying her brand. I'm not destroying Crystalline's brand. Crystalline is Crystalline because Crystalline got some dark wisdom. And that's why Crystalline's still here making it do what it do for y'all, because Crystalline listened to me. So
Yes,
because
that's
I'm
right.
not all sweet and nice like she is doesn't mean I've destroyed anything. Crystalline is stronger because of me.
Yes.
And I'm softer because of her. You know, y'all need the light and shadow side of the moon. Y'all just want this fuzzy stuff, and that's not how it works. So to end it all, 2020 for me, my end of the year synopsis is that the weed is being separated from the chaff in every area of life. That certain people are going to win while other people stay whining. There's going to be a point where being able to move up and down the social classes becomes more and more difficult. So this is why you need to be doing it now. You need to be preparing yourself for the new market where there is going to be no, you are this. You go to school and you be this and you do this for 30 years. You're going to have to constantly be upgrading and learning new skills and talents as the technology evolves quicker and quicker and quicker, and as certain roles are being replaced by automation and robotics. You're going to have to keep your head in the game and your ear to the ground. You're going to have to be in productivity mode. You know, my mentor says 80% of the time, and that's hard. It's hard even for me, but that's where we're at now. Playtime is over. And for all you little divestment girls, let me tell you this. I know some of y'all are young and you're just finding this stuff now, and so you're in the beginning stages of the righteous indignation, and you want to talk about black men all day. I'm sorry, but the time for that is past. You don't have 10 years to work through all of your black male angst. You better fast track that bitch, like expediently, and get to the action part for yourself. You don't have 10 years. By 2030, it's not going to be a good look for black people who did not get their head in the game. It's not. If you spent 10 years raging about black men on YouTube and Twitter, I don't know I don't know.
Right.
But unfortunately, you found us late. See, we had the 10 years to work all that stuff through. We just worked it through. Those of us on Facebook and on YouTube, we worked through it, all of that, and came to the final frontier. Y'all are just starting now. You don't have 10 years to sit and go back and forth about black men. Let it go. Get in therapy. Do some hypnosis. Smoke some weed. Whatever you need to do. Not for nothing. Go get some. Some of y'all just need a good. Anyway, you just wild up tight, and you want somebody to. You want to be witnessed. You want somebody to know you're sad and you're hurt, and so you just want to let all your angst out. But you better figure out how to use that to fuel something productive, because you don't have 10 years like we did. So please stop emailing me and asking me to come back. I'm not coming back. If you decide you want to continue being part of that Twitter divestment movement, listen, I told y'all before, I told y'all what to do a couple of months ago. If you didn't do it, I don't know what else to tell you, but I'm not coming back. But you don't have a lot of time now. And I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm not trying to make you panic. But what you want is to have a sense of urgency. You can't drag your feet. Nobody, black men, black women, nobody can drag their feet. And be clear, if it ain't profiting you in tangible ways, you don't have time for it. Yeah. If it ain't making you money, if it ain't upping your skill set, if it ain't giving you knowledge, if it ain't elevating you in some way, then you're wasting your time. Yeah. So that's what I've learned in 2020. That if it's not about business, then it ain't about shit. And business is not just money. It's the business of life. Ladies, I have to learn this. I have a mentor who got to tag my ass too, still to this day. Don't ever think you're going to just get it and now you're going to reach the destination. No, you always need guidance. You always need somebody who's further along in the journey to ring that bell when you're getting off track. We all need it. Stop trying to be super women.
Yeah, being unbothered like
and
nothing
for
ever.
Black men, let me say that because I know y'all are watching too. You're not 100% wrong. You never were. You're not 100% wrong. I saw a comment from a dude and he said, so how can we, it was so far back I can't read it quote for quote, but he said, so how do we convey some of the things that you're saying to black women in a way, I guess he was saying that black women will listen. And I will say this, I think at this point, I think the time for trying to come together and talk it out amongst, I think that's done. I think what you need to do, and this is my opinion, it's not Chris, it's nobody else. I think that if you are a black man who is still interested in trying to come to some kind of healthy reconciliation with black women and trying to, I don't know, repair the I don't have that, by the way, but I'm talking to the brothers who still feel that way. I don't think the way you're going about it is effective. I can tell you this, and I warned of this years ago. All you're doing is driving black women away. I know you think that if you just give them some tough love, they're gonna get it. If Gabby Sidibe can find somebody, y'all say y'all don't care, but you do.
You do.
It's clear you do. And what you're finding is many of the black women who themselves thought and you thought and everybody thought were you know, that no one would have them are finding people. Maybe they're not to your standards or whatever, but it's better than what they would have had in many cases, not all cases. But some of them just want something, they just want someone to love them. You don't have to always be a level up. Maybe they're in the position. Let me tell you something. Do you know what kind of man I would have to be with in order for him to be a level up for me? Do you think that the most black men, if we're just going on income with nothing else, would be a level up for me? No, they wouldn't. So everybody has to find their level up where it is. If you are a 300-pound, dark-skinned black woman, then maybe a corny white dude is your level up in romance, and that's okay. So focus on whatever it is that you want to be, whatever it is. Stop making excuses about why it's always black women's fault, and be clear. I say that knowing that some of it is black women's fault. It doesn't matter. You're men. You're men. It doesn't matter whose fault it is.
Right. See, some of you guys
and that's
think
a hard thing for y'all to get. Like, the very thing you keep saying you want is the respect of manhood. But you don't really see, it's like the women who don't really know what a princess is and a siren is and a wife is. You got fantasies in your head about what it is, and you don't really seem to know what it is because there are no excuses in manhood. And it's not fair, but it's just the way it is. A lot of what goes on, you think that woman wants to be a size 2 eating salad? It ain't fair for her to be what you want her to be either. But it's just the way of the world. It's not fair. It just is what it is. So being a man means that you don't get no excuses. You don't get to blame it on black women, even if some of it is our fault. You just don't get to. So you have to figure out how to navigate and negotiate around, through, or over it. And if for you, that's going to get a Becky, knock yourself out.
Right.
Women like me don't care. I don't care.
Women like me don't care either. Let's say that both for the record. We both
And
don't.
a lot more black women are getting to the point where they don't care because they
Yes.
realize that they have options too.
Yes.
Part of the reason why black women care so much is because we thought we didn't have no options.
Right.
Now that we're realizing that maybe we're not going to get the top of the line non-black dude. Y'all need to come out of that. All y'all are not going to get a millionaire. So knock it off. It's ridiculous. But if you can get a nice dude who will love you and be with you and take care of any kids you make with him, maybe that's all you can get. Maybe that's all you want. And if you're a black man and you can't find what you want amongst black women, because black women are crazy too, and you need to find love somewhere else, go get it.
Yes.
I'm not going to begrudge. It used to hurt my feelings. It used to hurt my feelings. It doesn't hurt my feelings anymore because you don't corner the market on my options.
Yes. Yes.
And so now that you don't corner the market on my options, I don't care what you do.
Honestly.
I don't.
Honestly.
So if you can't find edification in black women because we act a fool, and we do, then go where you are celebrated and not.
Yes.
But don't be hypocrites. And y'all say we're hypocrites, but let's be clear. Who drew first blood? Come on, y'all.
Right.
Y'all
And
know
who
y'all
does
doing
this
shit.
twice as much, and sometimes
like
3 times
and then
as
the
much?
first time we start doing it, and we celebrating it, and y'all are like, you didn't like it. Of course we didn't like it when you did it. You were leaving us.
That's right. When we didn't think we could do it. Yes.
You were leaving us, and we were begging you to come back, and you were giving us your ass to kiss. So now that we're celebrating and we're finally freeing ourselves too, you saying that we're hypocrites. But come on, and I've given this example before. If I let's use it for a man. A man is with a woman, a wife. They got 3 kids. She is lazy. She's fat. She's unproductive. She don't take care of herself. She won't fuck him. She won't show him no respect. She won't keep the house clean. She barely raises the kids. She always got his name in her mouth in some nasty way. She's telling all the family business to her friends and her mama. She act a fool. You have asked her umpteen times to please pull it together. Please You bought her some gym equipment. You've encouraged her to get healthy. You've changed your diet. You've asked her to go to therapy. You said, listen, our kids need a mama. They need you. And she's still off doing whatever, right? At some point, when you decide that you've had enough and you go and you file for divorce and you've worked everything out that you can work out with the kids and eventually you find love somewhere else, that woman begrudging you for you taking action after you begged and pleaded for her to get it together. And this is some of what Black women have done, so I understand. She don't have no rights.
That's right.
So when you jump ship after the 1965 Civil Rights Amendment, and y'all did, and the stats show it, you jumped ship. You gave up and you decided that you was dolo, YOLO, solo. You cared about yourself and your individual come up. It wasn't worth the grief. That white man was never going to let you collectively come up. So you decided that you was going to be for Dell. And you did that and admitted. You immediately jumped ship and your intermarriage rate started to go up to the point where between 1960 and 2010, the rates went up 20 times. So while Black women's rates fell in proportion of marriage. So we dipped and y'all went out, right? We went down, y'all went out. Y'all know y'all did this. The studies say that y'all did this. The stats say y'all did this. The charts say y'all did this. Stop acting like you didn't do it. You did it. Yeah. So now, 50 years in, when Black women are finally saying, well, goddamn, I guess I'm going to have to do it too. And then when we start doing it and start finding out that we're not as undesirable, no matter how you may think we are, maybe we're not worthy of you because you're the high level alpha, but maybe we're worthy of this nerdy ass Asian. And we start celebrating that because at least we see ourselves getting chose for a change.
Yes.
Now you're going to say we're being hypocrites?
Yeah.
No, we're human beings. Like this Jedi mind trick stuff that y'all try to pull. Stop doing that and be men. You would be surprised at how much you could probably command the respect of Black women, because I'm telling y'all, it wouldn't take much for them to come running back to y'all.
Right.
I'm telling y'all it wouldn't, I know. It would not take much, but you have to be consistent. You want submission? I told y'all this before. In order for someone to submit to you, they have to be dependent upon you. In order for someone to be dependent upon you, you have to be dependable.
Yes.
Y'all don't want to have to be dependable, but you want all the rights and privileges that comes with submission. I'm not really a patriarchal chick that way, but some of these women are willing to submit, but you got to give us something consistent to rely upon. You can't be wishy-washy and you can't come with excuses. We don't care about y'all excuses anymore because y'all don't cut us no slack.
Right. They surely do not.
You don't cut us no slack. You don't say, well, maybe you have post-traumatic slave rape syndrome. Maybe part of the reason why you're a fool is because you were raped to death for 300 years. You don't say that about us. Maybe the reason why you're not the best mama is because, motherhood is a fucked up situation for you when half your babies were sold away from you. You don't care about what happened to us, but you always want us to care about your trials and tribulations, what the white man won't let you do. You offer us no compassion. Maybe if you showed a little compassion, I'm not saying let us get away with everything. We need to be checked, but that stuff y'all are doing, it's just not the way to go about it. So for those brother who asked, how do you say what I'm saying to Black women and maybe have them be a little bit more receptive? Have just show some basic compassion for the fact that we're hurt too. You think you're the only one hurt by emasculation? You think it's only you? You act like it's only you. That you've been in this by yourself the whole time. Do you know what it's like to be a Black woman, especially a Black woman that looks a certain way? If you feel profiled and hated just because of what you look like, people projecting shit onto you, how do you think it makes us feel as women where everything is tied to looks? You just sat here and listened to me talk for 3 hours about how much these chicks are focusing on looks because they're so desperate to feel like women, because that's what women are judged by. So if you feel it because of the way you're judged, because of the way you look, then imagine it's 10 times worse for us because we're women. Beauty and biology is everything for women. The whole world treats you based on what you look like. Did it ever occur to you how hurtful and harmful it is for you to say that you bet that bitch look better red? Bet a dark-skinned bitch can take a punch better? Do you know what that does to the self-esteem of a little black girl? That you want to grow up and make better choices? We're not in a vacuum. We're not from planet Xanos. We're right here in this community with you. And y'all act like y'all are going through this shit by yourselves. Mad that we took advantage of some social safety nets to take care of your children. What if black women had just simply stopped fucking you? There would have been no children and we wouldn't have had no need for social safety nets. Then you would have called us bed wench coon whores like you're doing now. If we had given up on y'all, we wouldn't have need no social safety nets. Let's have that discussion. Y'all don't want to have that discussion because that means that the community would have ended. We did what was necessary to keep the community going, and y'all are mad at us for it. And you don't want to accept the fact that the reason why we were so dependent, y'all said we put you out the house, honey. We couldn't put you out the house whose deed your name was on. You didn't own shit. And if you could be so easily replaced by a WIC and welfare check, then you need to check yourselves. If you could be so easily replaced by a WIC and welfare check, but you don't want to have that conversation, do you? Why were you so easily replaced? Oh, the evil white man. We don't want to hear your excuses. You don't want to hear ours. So if you want to, y'all gotta come to the table ready to be accountable, just like y'all want black women to be. Black women. Y'all gotta stop acting like y'all are blank slates that black men are just writing all over like you're a goddamn etch and sketch. You are not. You are active participants in all of this shit. You laying down with these niggas, having their babies, and then saying, unmarried, saying, I didn't know I was gonna be a single mother. What the fuck is your definition of single?
Right.
Webster's Dictionary. Single, unmarried.
Right.
How do you say you didn't know you was gonna be I knew I was gonna be a single mother. I wasn't married. Like stupid stuff. Y'all, listen, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna go, because they're gonna be really mad, but I just have to say this. Y'all are everything that y'all complain about in them. And I'm not saying it to be hurtful. I'm not saying, I didn't fully understand it either. I will admit, it took me some time to get it. That was my final frontier experience. You are the niggas you complain about. It just looks different because you're women. It looks different, but it's the same thing. And not for nothing, they're getting a lot of it from you. They're right. Are you willing to accept the responsibility of doing something different? Including, stop fucking them if they're that much of a problem. Stop having their children. And black men, if black women are choosing so badly, support them and stop and not having your children. Y'all want us to keep doing the same thing and expect to get a different result. Black women, you want them to do a different thing and get the same result? No. Everybody got to take it now. Everybody got to step back, eat some humble pie. Nobody's willing to do it. So I'm done. And not for nothing, I encourage Chris to be done with y'all too, because y'all don't deserve her. No amount of lighting and upgraded video equipment is going to change the content of her, the value of her content. Do you want to hear what she has to say that can spare you that fate or not? Or are you worried about what kind of lighting she has? It's so silly. And let me just say this one more thing. I know I've been saying we're going to end, but let me just say this. I did listen to a portion of the conversation that you had, not a lot, because I don't have time for that. But I listened to the portion of the conversation you had, recently on a platform, run by a black man, who had a lot to say about Gabby Sidibe. And I will say this: I'm not going to. The question that was posed to you is this: do you think black women are responsible for being overweight? Do you think black women are just having a lack of discipline? And I'm going to answer that question from my point of view. This is not crystalline. This is just me. Yes. Yes. Black women have a lack of discipline. Black women use food as emotional comfort. Black women use food to self-medicate. Could we stop doing that? Yes. Should we stop doing that? Yes. Ultimately, is it our responsibility to stop doing that? Yes. So, is it a lack of discipline? Yes. But let's get into it.
Right.
Studies show that young girls, particularly prepubescent girls, but sometimes starting as early as 7 to 8 years old, who live in dangerous environments, tend to have a bigger body mass than other girls. Why? Because living in the perpetual threat of violence in your neighborhood causes you to want to self-protect and self-medicate.
Mm-hmm.
Black women are disproportionately sexually molested or abused as children. Studies show that children, both male and female, but primarily girls, who are being sexually violated oftentimes will put on weight. Why? Because they're thinking, and as the way a child would think, that if this person is abusing me because they want my body, if I make my body unappealing, then maybe they will leave me alone. How do I know this? Because not only do the studies say this, but I have clients
Yes.
who are struggle with morbid obesity to this day because they were abused as children and they started eating as children to both comfort themselves and also, a lot of times, unsuccessfully to thwart their abuser.
Mm-hmm.
So when you want to talk about our Black women fat and ugly and undisciplined, because fat and ugly and undesirable because they are undisciplined, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Exactly. Because we
Why?
didn't just show up like this. It didn't happen in a vacuum.
Right.
And let's not talk about the stress hormones,
The
stress hormones of being raised in a neighborhood.
The question that you brother said, well, what can we do? How can we have this conversation? Ask Black women why they are fat. Stop talking to them, and ask them. Stop talking at them and ask them.
Yes.
They'll tell you. If you act like you genuinely care and won't mock them, they'll tell you. I was sexually abused as a child. Who's doing the abusing, yo?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sometimes it's Black women. Yes, it happens on the watch of Black women. But who is the primary predator? It is you. Not you necessarily, you, brother man, but you, your archetype. White men ain't coming into the community and molesting all these Black girls or boys. Y'all remember African Bambaataa raping boys up here in the Bronx and Harlem for 30 years? While the whole community knew?
R.
Are
Kelly.
you willing to accept any responsibility for that while you complaining about how fat they are? See, there's enough conversation to go around if people would be willing to be honest and listen and be accountable. So yes, Black women are responsible for their weight. Now let's talk about what is factoring into Black women's weight.
Mm-hmm.
So the discipline starts with stop allowing niggas to rape your children.
Yes.
Niggas, stop raping Black women's children. Start there.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe you won't have a girl who then struggles with weight all her life so that by the time she's 30 years old, she's 300 pounds. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not an expert, but maybe that's a good place to start rather than just yelling and screaming at her. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe talk to the sisters and find. I'm telling y'all, in the work that I do, 75 to 80% of the Black women that I have come across in this work who have been willing to share it have been sexually experienced some form of sexual abuse in this community. 75 to 80% of the women I have dealt with, and I've dealt with thousands of women. Why would you expect them not to be fat?
Right.
And self-loathing? You think they're not human beings?
Right.
That white man treats you like shit, and you walk around with your pants hanging off your ass with teeth, gold in your mouth, barely legible, talking about stupid shit because he won't let you be. But when the Black woman says, well, this is what happens and how it makes me feel, you say, oh no, you just fat and sloppy.
Right.
You don't treat us like we're human.
Right. This, this is so sad. It almost makes you want to cry.
And Black women too. Mm-hmm. Treat each other like you're human.
Right.
And you might get somewhere. I don't know.
Wow.
But anyway, ladies, thank you so much, Chris, for hosting me. For those of you who are willing to listen, I'm glad. I hope you get something good out of this conversation. For those of you who are in your feelings because I triggered you, I hope you grow up. For those of you who are listening because you want to hate listen and you right now getting ready to start going live videos to us, I don't care. I'm not going to listen. I'm going off of YouTube. I'm going to go pour me some wine. I'm not listening to you. I don't care. So anything you say, I don't care. And I'm not like, unless you're going to make money off of it, I wouldn't do it if I were you.
Right.
Hit me up. I can hip you to some game about how to make money off of shit.
Yeah. Because she hipped me, and I'm doing quite well.
Money in your pocket, then you're wasting your time.
Right. Exactly.
If you're doing this shit on YouTube for free, you wasting your time.
You really wasting your time. This is all you got. I feel sorry for you. That was so deep, Kendall, what you closed with, and I think that's really important. We both need to look at the humanity in both of us. Both of us are
Hey,
not
Chris,
seeing
I
each
can
other.
barely hear you.
I said we gotta. Okay, you can't hear me, but I'm just telling you. You said a word, okay, girl? You said a word.
Okay.
We got to see the humanity that we both
came to say
have.
a word,
You
so.
know, you.
Thank y'all for entertaining me. Thank you, Chris, for hosting me. Chris, you got your pink pill. Is your pink pill thing still going on? Are you
Yes,
doing
there's a
something
few hours
with your pink
left, you
pill?
guys. Yes, a few hours left to get 40% off of all the pink pill courses, including the other courses on the Teachable platform. It ends at midnight tonight. So get it while you can. We got a lot of new pinkies enrolled, and we're about to have a lot of fun. We got some important things coming up. I have some important announcements that are coming up, kind of really, really big. So the link is in the description box. You guys know where to find Kendall. You know obviously where to find me. Listen to what she's saying to you. Listen to what she's saying to you. Get out of your emotions.
I'm not trying to hurt y'all.
Yes.
Men or the women. I know I can be feisty and I can be cutting with my mouth. I know that. Sometimes y'all need to be whipped up a little bit. But I'm not that right now. I'm not in blue and blue archetype right now. This is KSC. I'm chilling. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not trying to hurt the brothers. I'm not trying to hurt the sisters. I'm not trying to hurt the black love people or the swirlers or the divestors. I'm not trying to hurt you. Take from whatever it is. If you see some value in what I say, take it and apply it, use it, and the rest, whatever.
Right.
But it's just not personal. I'm not thinking about when I get off of this. I'm not gonna be thinking about y'all.
Right.
So don't be thinking about me.
Right.
It's not that deep. Take what I say. Don't be thinking about me. For those of you who are asking, you can get on my email list. I will be having an end of the year sale. Sometime in December. So I haven't sent out anything in a couple of months, but I will be having an end of the year sale where you can catch up on all my old stuff and all that. And if you want to partake, go ahead. If not, it's cool. But you need to be on my email list for that. And you can kind of go back to when I was more fiery and feisty. I was very, very feisty, passionate. But and I still stand by what I said. It's just I'm just on the other side of it now. But it still matters and it's still relevant. So if you want to get put on, get put on. If not, that's fine. Y'all hit Chris up for her pink pill. She put a lot of work into that pink pill. I was there at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. She actually thought of the name.
Her butt off for that pink. I mean, I don't think Chris minds me telling y'all. I've said it before that I gave her the name the pink pill because she said we need a red pill for black women, and I said no, we need a pink pill. And she ran with it, created this fabulous products, and now she has a line of products for college and for business, and she put her foot in it. Crystalline will hit me when she's making things, when she's creating her products, she will hit me up and say, I'm planning to cover these topics. Did I forget anything? Because she knows that I have a shadow side mentality, and I may see things or remember things that she's not thinking of in the moment, and I'll be like, touch on this, and that. She's like, boom. And then she'll go and do the research and incorporate it, and it turns into, it's her brainchild. But she will seek me out for the shadow side because she wants to make sure that she covers all the bases. Put some respect on her name. She's been in this game longer than just about anybody. Put some respect on her name. Go get the pink pill and level up. And stop with the princess stuff. You can be a princess, but don't, you can look like a princess, but don't think like a princess.
Okay.
The princess is the form. Look like the princess, but think like the fucking matriarch. Whether you have children or not, whether you get married or not, it's about your legacy, and you birth more than babies. You may never get married or have children, but you can still be the matriarch of your legacy. You can birth all kinds of things, great things onto this planet, and you may need some help getting there. So don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be too cheap to pay for it.
That's right.
So go hit up Chris for her pink pill stuff. It's fabulous. I think I've been a few of the modules, right? The original pink pill. Didn't we do an interview?
Yes, we did. Yeah, so Kendall is in the first in the original pink pill. There's a lecture in there from her.
Yeah, I'm in there in the original pink pill. So y'all go hit her up if you're interested in hearing my stuff. Get on my email list when I send the stuff out. Get it while the getting is good. But that's it, ladies. So we just wanted to do an end of the year assessment. I think that the weed is being separated from the chaff in all areas of life, including Black women and Black people.
Yes.
And it's get busy winning, or stay whining. Those are the
Yeah.
if it ain't investing, if it's not an investment in you, you should not have time for it. And I mean that. If it's not an investment in you, you should not have time for it.
Right.
So if you're spending time and money and energy on stupid shit that don't offer you a return, then I don't
need
know
to
what
rethink
say.
it.
If you
Absolutely.
want somebody to teach you how to fucking level up in that mindset, in that fuck
Go
you
see
pay
her.
me mindset, then come find
Yes.
me. Maybe I will be willing to coach you.
Yes.
Instead of y'all being so mad that somebody's doing better than you, why don't you just seek them out and ask them to help you?
Right.
I don't
Instead of
understand
trying to
that.
destroy what they've created. Instead of trying to
You
destroy
gotta
what
pay
somebody
them
else
now.
can.
Be clear. You gotta pay people.
That's
but
right.
Instead of just being so angry about how can she do that, ask her. She may be willing to teach you.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
so stupid. Nobody wants to be the student. Everybody got to be the chief. That's what's wrong with Black people. Nobody wants to get in fucking formation. So anyway, that's it, y'all. This has been a great talk. Thank you for indulging
Thank you,
me in my
Kendall.
long-winded
Love you, girl.
ass. Yeah, I appreciate it, and I'm gonna go back underground. And y'all continue to do what you do.
All right.
That's it.
That's right. See you on the other side, right?
See you on the other side, lady.
All right. Bye, y'all. Merry Christmas.